Welcome into an all episode of Panthers on Tap. I'm Curtis Rauen, joined by Bryson, Karbley, Ricky Raines, coming to you guys on a Wednesday evening. We've made it past the combine. We'll be doing a mock draft tonight. We'll be talking about prospects in the Underwear Olympics. We'll talk about free agency as that is upon us in a few days. Set your calendars. Monday and then Wednesday's the official day for free agency to begin. So we're ready to roll this evening. Ricky, good to have you back. Bryson, good to see you guys as always. How we doing tonight?
Good, man. Excited to talk football. Excited to have Ricky back. And I know a lot of people are asking and missing him. He takes one day off and the world falls apart around here. So I'm glad to have Ricky back. And, his expertise in this time of year is invaluable. So I'm excited to pick his brain a little bit.
Well, that's awful sweet of you fellas. I hated being gone last week. I was really looking forward to that episode as well, kind of discussing things coming up with the combine and everything. But I'm very happy to be here for this one because the fun for me with the combine is if you're all right. So validated is the wrong word, right? But like we all form our opinions of these prospects, and a lot of us watch film. We come up with our grades and all these things. And then when you watch it on display, you kind of get that validation, right? Of like, that matches what I have. That's exactly how I feel he was going to perform. And, I put out my top 10 position ranks for that week beforehand. And I got to tell you, boys, I'm pretty pleased with myself because some of the guys that I was higher on than other people, they made me look relatively decent when it comes to the athletic testing, at least. So I'm excited to talk about what you guys like from it. I'm excited to talk about what I like from it. And I'm excited to drink some cold beer and talk with all of our friends here on Panthers on Tap.
Amen. Speaking of beer, let's get into that. What do we got for tonight, Ricky? Let's start with you.
I'm 2 beers in, boys. So I'm just going to go ahead and warn you now. I had a mentorship meetup for the Men Invested in Kids Education program that I'm in over at my son's elementary school. Bunch of good dudes and an awesome lady, the teacher that gets the thing going. We met at a brewery. So I've already had a couple. So I had to leave. I changed from an IPA to a PBR because I was like, guys, I have another prior scheduled engagement to drink on the internet with my friends. I was like, so I got to stop drinking in real life. I have this right here. It's called Hop Duos. This is from Other Half Brewery. This is a double dry hopped IPA. Now, I've had this before, and it is one of my absolute favorite beers, guys. So I brought out the big guns for this one tonight. And then I also got another one. Shout out to Brawley's Beverage Shop here in Charlotte. I went in there yesterday and they were closed, and I didn't realize that. I'm an idiot. I didn't look at their hours or anything like that. I just saw that the parking lot was relatively empty, so I skirted in there and I walk up to the door swings wide open. Guy comes out of the back room and he's just like, "What's up, buddy?" And I was like, "Oh, hey, man." I walked straight to the cooler. Like, I didn't know what he was going to say, right? Walked straight to the cooler. I'm in there freezing my nuts off. I'm in shorts and short sleeves because it's 78 degrees in Charlotte. And like, I come back out and he's like, "Hey, just to let you know, pal, like, we're not open yet." And I was like, "Oh, damn it, man. I'm so sorry." And he was like, "Nah, it's cool, man. If I'm here, I'm selling." So he checked me out 3 hours early. So shout out to Brawley's. I appreciate you guys. The other one, though, is another one from Other Half. This is called Juice Curl. You see the curling here, which I thought was awesome for the Olympics that just wrapped up. But this is another double dry hopped IPA that I have not had. So I'm ready to experience something new this evening.
All right, Bryson. He set the stage. What do you got?
I'm drinking also one of my absolute favorite beers, Michelob Ultra. This is from golf, from Curtis and I's golf outing. That I'm not going to talk about the result live on air. But yeah, I had some leftover beer and figured I'd kill it for the show.
Yeah, that was a hell of a golf outing. Even if I would have lost, it was still fun. Great weather. We had 2 guys that were walking the course in front of us that were just a pain in the ass the whole time. But hey, we're here. We made it. I can't complain. I actually do not have a light beer today. So I got this. Yeah, Ricky. I went out last week and got some beers. This is Founders. It's called Dirty Bastard. I feel like someone on the show has had this before.
Yeah.
It's a Scotch style ale.
Mm-hmm.
Like 8.5%. And then I also got another one because I like the can. This is the Backwoods Bastard. 11%. So pretty strong beers, and then I also do have Michelob, because if I have both of these, I'm gonna probably be on my ass if I have both of
You
these.
slurring your words by the end of the show.
That backwoods bastard, that's their barrel age, right? I believe.
Yes. Yep. The oak bourbon barrel.
Oh,
So
you're in for a treat. It's gonna be a ride tonight for Curtis.
yeah, so we got those. Chat. Let's go to the chat here real fast. We got Anthony in here. What's up? Appreciate you,
What up,
Carter. Let's fucking go. Panthers
Carter,
on
what's
tap.
up, man?
Curtis, your drink sucks. Keep pounding everyone. Glad you're consistent, Carter. What's up, fellas? Nate, appreciate you. Carter here with the super chat. Jalen Coker back. Ricky, I need to not tell you what.
I tell you what. I tell you what. Cheers,
to
Carter.
that.
Cheers, Carter.
Cheers to Jalen Coker.
Sorry.
What up, Lo?
Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, what up, Lo? Made for More. Host of the pregame podcast. If you guys haven't seen that show, please check it out. One of my favorites. I don't get to watch as many podcasts as I'd like to, and that is one that I try my best to catch as often as possible, man. Really cool show and a terrific host. What up, Lo?
Yeah, Lo, good to see you. Appreciate you. Sorry, I was choking on this multi-ass beer. Talon, what's up, boys? Keep pounding. Appreciate you, Talon. We got
What up,
Dom in here. One of our regulars. Appreciate you as always. I'm playing it basic today. I got a couple Stella Artois. Hey, man, those are great. Like
Basic is fun, man. Yeah, Carolina Nate in the building.
Guinness. I like that.
Oh, okay.
Chris Dillard as well.
Yeah, what's up, Chris?
Keep pounding. Appreciate you. Katie, where the hell have you been?
Yeah, Katie.
Fellas? I feel like it's been a bit.
Because we ain't got the W video for it. She's only here for the video.
Katie was dodging us these past few weeks. Good to see you as always, Katie. All right, let's get into it because we do have a ton of stuff to talk about. And we want to start with the combine here. Ignore Bryson's Walmart connection. It has transferred from me to him. So
how does that feel that you get to say that to him, Curtis?
I know it's great. I get
these days. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the combine for a second. Obviously, that has come and gone. I know there's a lot of folks. There's been chatter amongst the Panthers community on a lot of these prospects, but we kind of wanted to talk about. Actually, I'll let Ricky kind of lead into that of the combine of what we were kind of going after here with this segment.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of slides, right, that we're going to do where each of us picked a player that stood out, whether it's good or bad. We'll get into that, and the graphics will show just the basics of them, their measurements, basic athletic testing, and then we'll each talk about why these players stood out to us, right? You'll notice a theme too, like these are positions of need for Carolina. But I thought that for my thing, guys, just looking at the combine, it was really interesting to me looking at the offensive line. There is not a lot of premier offensive linemen as far as meeting historical athletic and measurement thresholds. Arm length is something that Carolina has harped on, right? It's a hot button conversation with Will Campbell getting obliterated in the Super Bowl and everyone saying, hey, if you're, sub 34, you can't play. Sub 33, I think was Campbell, which is another question. But you got a prospect on these slides that also came in sub 33.
About to steal my thunder.
Talk about that too. Either way, hey, you're the one that told me to do this. You had your thunder and you handed it to me. I didn't steal shit. Either way, though, the combine was a really cool thing. It always is because you get to see these prospects that maybe you want to check back in on. For the Panthers, I think that you can lock in on some positions and start to see which ones are likely to be in the pool of names for Carolina. So that's kind of where we went, right, with this segment. Is that a good enough segue for you?
Yeah. And Ricky, kind of wanted you to front it because I feel like you kind of came up with this idea and I thought it was great. So if we want to just jump right into it, here I'll just pull. I think it's
slide that down a little bit. Yep, there you go.
So my first one was Jacob Rodriguez. I thought he tested out pretty well. The one thing that you won't see in this slide, but that he didn't do was the bench press. And I think that was intentional. He is kind of on the slighter side as a linebacker, and that might be one of his knocks and, trying to work through blocks at college. I know that Ricky had brought that up at one point about him. But I thought overall he tested well. I thought his 40 was pretty good. He's got great instincts as a linebacker, and that's one of the things that I wrote down about him early on, I think, when we talked about at the Senior Bowl. But this is a guy that I think Carolina should be interested in the second round. I know there's been some chatter online about maybe the first round. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I do think in that second round at 45 is literally a spider is crawling. I don't know if you guys see that. There's literally a spider right here. The joys of being in the basement. But no, for a guy at 51, if he's there, I don't know if he makes it that far down, but for a guy at 51, I do think he would be in consideration for Carolina. In his interview process, he talked about, their training, and he would love to play for Charlotte and for the Panthers. So, yeah, I thought overall across the board his testing was very fluid and solid, honestly. The one knock was the weightlifting part of it, and I think obviously he purposely skipped that. So we'll see if he does it at his pro day, or he does it privately for some of these teams. I think he's trying to avoid that a little bit. And if that's what your knock is and you don't want to reveal that to folks, I feel like prospects do this all the time. But yeah, I like him. I do like him as a prospect. I know he might not be as high on Ricky's top 10. I've seen him down on a few others as well. But this is a guy I like. I do think he's got potential in that second round, and he could be a pretty good player in the long run. So that was one of the first ones I wanted to highlight. Ricky, if we want to go to the next one, or if you guys want to say anything about Rodriguez or talk about it a little bit here.
I was curious though so you made it, you brought up the point, right, where there's a lot of people having this conversation about first round. Then there's people that are saying second round value is appropriate. Then there's people that say third round, right? So Bryson, my question for you is, I know that you like Jacob Rodriguez fine too, right? I know that you're a fan of his game. And my knocks on Jacob Rodriguez, by the way, aren't about his ability to see the game. I love the way that he sees the game. In fact, like, he's one of those players, him, Torian York, to a much greater extent, is one of the guys that I think sees the game really well. I wish that there was more in terms of the physical side that some of these other prospects have, right? Like Anthony Hill Jr. If you could combine, I think we even talked about this on one of the episodes, if you could combine the best of Anthony Hill Jr. and the best of a Jacob Rodriguez or a best of Torian York, you get the prospect that I think everyone really craves here. The question is, do you want your linebacker to have the size? Do you want him to be physical and imposing for Carolina on that second level? And we're talking specifically about Carolina. So think about what they have on the defensive front. Think about what they have on the back end, right? Bryson, where do you think is an appropriate range? Do you think that Jacob Rodriguez trading back into the first or even at 19, is that good value? Or do you find him to be a little bit more towards that day 2 range?
Yeah, hopefully my connection stays connected here, I guess. But yeah, I would not feel extremely comfortable with him in the first. Definitely more of a day 2, second round. I mean, hell, if there was a world where he fell to the third, that would be a dream come true. But I don't see that happening. So day 2, specifically probably the second round for me. I would feel, like I think Curtis mentioned, pick 51 would be perfect for, and I'd feel okay with that.
Well, and to Katie's point too, and I think this is kind of where my head goes, is you go out and you get, there's been rumblings out there that Carolina might be interested in Devin Lloyd. You go out and get Devin Lloyd and then pair this guy with him. Like that room, I think, takes a way massively, obviously because of Lloyd, but I also think it takes a step up too, because you don't need J-Rod to come in and be, the single caller in the middle of the field. You can kind of pair him alongside him, and I think that could be beneficial. And that's kind of where my head goes with that pick. But I agree with Bryson. I don't think I'm comfortable going first round. I just saw that chatter today. I think second round, I don't know how far up or down that could go, because I do think this class, and Ricky, I'm sure you'll agree with this, and there's several experts that have said this, this is a deeper linebacker class. There is some weird, I think, Ricky, you tweeted this out during the combine. There's just some weird measurables with this whole entire group.
Yeah.
Like it kind of makes you uncomfortable sometimes looking at it because they don't fit that prototypical, the measurements. But I also have seen in the past guys like this, of this size, make an impact, and they're great NFL players. So I think sometimes we gotta pull back a little bit from these measurements sometimes, because we get so hung up on that. And I do think this guy does. I think he could be one of those dudes.
He sees the field well. He has some of the best movement ability of any linebacker in the class. That wasn't really anything that I questioned. You saw it at the Senior Bowl with his ability to play coverage in those one-on-one drills that are a little bit more set up for the offense than they are for the defense, right? And he held his own very well. That shows up on tape. He is a disruptor of the football. He could take away. He could produce takeaways. He is a peanut punch savant. But the thing that you mentioned, though, about his size and deconstructing blocks and getting off of blocks and things like that, we just heard Dan Morgan talk about and Dave Canales talk about their pressure and the needed pass rush pressure that they need. And they said it doesn't matter where it comes from, whether it's from the linebackers. You get a blitzing linebacker. That's one area for Jacob Rodriguez he may struggle with, sifting through and getting through gaps with those offensive linemen, breaking down blocks. That may be an area that he has, some development that he has to deal with. And then you juxtapose that with the guys like a Jake Galladay, who's 6'4", 240, and has edge experience, but doesn't have a ton of mic experience in seeing and leading and communicating a defense. But is that more of what they asked him to do and what they didn't ask him to do? Rodriguez is a really sharp, solid football player. I don't dislike Jacob Rodriguez. People see him at 7 on my top 10 pre-combine, and they're like, why do you hate Jacob Rodriguez? Adult, man, 7 in this class is pretty solid. I have a 3rd round grade on him. Typically, guys don't go necessarily in the round where they have grades. People will have 2nd, 3rd round grades on guys that go in the 1st round because of promise and potential. Jacob Rodriguez is an older prospect. He does not have many athletic limitations. You see the numbers there: 4.57 40, good long range speed. The vertical of 38.5 and the broad jump of 10'11" shows you his explosiveness. He's got that, right? And you see his build right there in that picture. That's something that I was looking for. I wanted to see how is his body composition. And honestly, he's stocky, he's full, but he doesn't have the wingspan. He doesn't have the arm length. And that shows up in his missed tackles because he has a missed tackle rate of about 18%. It is legitimate. Like there are questions that you have to deal with, but in coverage, his lateral agility, his movement, his ability to mirror, he is exceptional in those ways. It just depends. And I think you made a good point of saying if you package him in the right way with another player, he could be an outstanding will type of linebacker. I don't know that he is your unquestioned day one starter if you draft him to be your middle linebacker in the 1st round. I think that that's asking a lot from him personally.
Well, and I think that's why I like him so much, because Carolina has lacked a guy who can cover. I mean, guy who Trevin Wallace and Roseboom who bite down the play action. Like,
right. And Jacob gets full with some of that too, though, man.
Yeah, and he does. And I saw it today when I was watching him. Yeah,
right.
I mean, he does. But
his
instincts and his
yes.
I don't know, man. He sees. There are times where it's like he's seeing the shit before it's like he has good instincts. He's
a good football player, man. And you said it with the linebacker thing. We're going to talk about this stuff, right? We're going to talk about this until the draft. But these guys have deficiencies. Jeremiah Trotter is another guy. Like, I love his downhill trigger. I love his physicality. But he has wild issues in coverage. Jake Galladay, we just talked about it. He's a projection. CJ Allen, they say that he is cerebral as shit, was calling plays for the Georgia defense, which we know that is impressive. But he's 6'1", 230. And he's got length issues too. He didn't test at the combine. Like, and that doesn't matter, man. Teams don't care as much about that. But I like the competitive spirit. I love what Jacob Rodriguez did. Give him props on this too. He took part in so many more drills than a lot of the top billing guys. And this is a guy who is wildly accoladed through his collegiate career. This is a true baller, man. And like, I don't hate him. I just think it's okay to point out places where he's not some home run. Sonny Styles showed everybody what a home run prospect looks like. Now, whether that pans out or not, he has everything that you would want to check the boxes for in a prospect. That's what draft evaluation is. You're grading the prospect, not necessarily predicting their future, right? So Jacob Rodriguez is a good player. I think that should absolutely be in contention for the Panthers. The question is, where is the round value for everybody? Here's your second guy, Curtis.
Yeah, Spencer Fano. I know that's a guy that Ricky has mentioned before. 4'9", 140, 32-inch vertical, broad jump, 9'3", 7'3" cone. The guy can move. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He can move. 6'5", 311, and Ricky brought it up before, the arm length, 32 1/8. That might drop him, man. I mean, that's going to probably drop him down the board. He played tackle. He's talked about, he was asked about it, and he said, I will do whatever it takes if I need to play center. So he's open to that move, and he's more than likely, it sounds like, from all early indications at this point, and this could just be, smoke and mirrors, and the team is, a fan of him playing outside, but it seems likely that he probably would kick inside, whether that's at guard or center. But, a guy that could potentially be there in Carolina's range. I don't know if he drops that far. I don't know if Ricky agrees with me on that, but he's got the athleticism to play all over the place, and I know that's something that Dave Canales values on this offensive line, and we've seen that in the past. And the dude ain't small; he's a big dude. So, I just think it's interesting. The arm length is why I wanted to talk about him, because it was someone who I know fans have talked about as a possibility. Ricky, I believe, didn't we take him in our first mock draft? He was our first pick. Yeah,
he's my offensive tackle 1.
So
I love his tape, but the arm length is a concern, man.
Yeah.
Some of the questions that they had about this Utah combo of Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu. Sorry, I brain fart right there. That's the 2 beers already. Caleb Lomu was the size. Utah is a very run-heavy team. Played in the Big 12 this year. Didn't face elite defenses outside of Texas Tech. Really is what a lot of people would tell you. Fano and Lomu had difficulty with David Bailey and Romello Height. Like they struggled with him a bit. But Spencer Fano this is the interesting part. Bryson, I want your opinion on this though, because Curtis just talked about it. Could maybe play all over the line, right? Was asked to take snaps at center at the combine. If a utility,
and I appreciate that. I don't mean to jump in. I appreciate that, by the way.
Me too.
Like he wants any way like that. That tells me something about him as a person and a football player.
No doubt about it. This guy, look, he 3-year starter, right? Like a terrific experience at Utah. But his range is what's so appealing, man. Like his pocket range, his ability to kick set and get deep into it and widen that pocket for the quarterback is outstanding. But that arm length against exceptional athletes in the NFL on Sundays is different. And so, Bryson, my question for you is if the big thing for Spencer Fano is his utility value, right? His ability to play any of those 5 positions along the line, potentially. I don't know, do you start him outside? But if you're talking about taking this particular player at pick 19, is that the value for a potential first-round center, right? Is there good value in that? Because we're seeing what happens with Tyler Linderbaum right now, right? He was a first-round pick for the Ravens. Very good football player. They didn't want to use the franchise or the transition tag because it's the same for all offensive linemen. It would cost you $27 million a year for that year if you franchise tag your center. That would be an exceptional cost for the center. So, Bryson, is this a guy that if he doesn't play tackle, are you comfortable drafting him where he probably won't play guard year 1 as a starter? You still got Rob Hunt on the billing. You got Damian Lewis, who is outstanding. So where do you play him? And if he doesn't play in year 1, is that a good pick in round 1?
Yeah, I would feel comfortable with it in the first round, not necessarily because of the ability to play center, but I think if push comes to shove and Iquanu isn't ready in week 1, you have that option there. And I'm still kind of in the same boat with Curtis in that I believe Cade Mays is going to return to the Carolina Panthers. And if not him, then I think they're going to address that in free agency somehow. So I think, him having that versatility, it does make it a lot more interesting there. You're not just drafting him to be your tackle and that's it. So I like that. I agree with everything you guys said. It's a guy that can move. The arm length is concerning. I mean, I'm not usually like a big measurements guy,
right?
Really, because I've kind of just gotten tired of hearing, the specifics across our time and covering the draft and the Panthers passing because of certain, measurements. But seeing Will Campbell struggle, who was I would say a much higher rated prospect coming into the NFL draft than Spencer Fano is, that's concerning to me. I don't know if, that's just a Will Campbell thing or if it's, people with arms this short you're going to see struggle versus that elite pass rush talent. So that is a concern for sure. But I think his versatility overall is very tantalizing there at 19.
Ricky, can I just answer your question real quick?
Yeah.
That's all right. I think I would struggle if they don't view this guy as a tackle at 19, because I do think in the long run they're going to need a tackle. Timo's on his way out very soon. You have Icky coming off of an injury. Do they even really value Icky at that left tackle spot, or is their goal to kick him to the right side? We don't really know that. And I know they have a hole at center, but that just seems rich for me if they do not view this guy as a tackle.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question, right? And I know that there are questions too for both him and Lomu about play strength, because especially for Fano, when you see him, he's got a relatively thin lower half to him. And it works for him a lot as a tackle because of his ability. He, as a puller, he's got some of the best run blocking tape of any tackle in the 2026 class. I mean that sincerely. Like, it is wildly impressive, especially looking at the guy's arm length, for him to be able to lock on and move people. His grip strength, hand placement, timing, all of that stuff is terrific. But his ability against speed rushers is what really stood out to me too, as a right side tackle, right? Because Lomu played on the blind side. Fano has the ability to really be a good outside offensive lineman, but in the league, it is a different ball game, man. And so I'm with Bryson, where I'm not huge on like the measurements dictating what your opinion is of a prospect, but measurements do matter when it shows up. It didn't show up a lot for Spencer Fano. That's why I didn't know what to expect with his length. So maybe you give him that chance, right? Like the old saying is, do you let him fail somewhere else, right? Do you let him fail at tackle first before moving him? Or do you say, hey, look, man, we want you to play this position because we need this position. We very likely have a need at center, and he could step in and give you one of the more like sensational, at least like ideas at center, right? Like this guy at center as a pull blocker for him, when he was used as a pull blocker, getting out in front, he was phenomenal. That is something that we saw them want to do with Austin Corbett, right? And then Cade Mays got out a little bit, but a little bit less athletic, you know? I think that is a spot. And Cade Mays, you know, that's what you wanted more from him. You wanted him more physical in the run game. If Fano offers you that, I think it's a terrific boost to the team. But is that the prospect round value? That's going to be the question. And I love him. I think he's a terrific football player. I would not be mad for him to be in Carolina. I will tell you that right now. And if it takes 19 to do it, you asked me earlier, do I think he could slide? I do. I think that arm length is a serious thing that other teams could look at and say, I'm just not sure about. Then you had other guys like Monroe Freeling, who hits every single barometer you could want in a physical frame, who has a lot more developmental tape, though, than people want to give credit for. You can show the highlights, and he's got good highlights, man. He's got great moments, and he's got good bones to the foundation of his development. But he's going to take some time. You put him out there day one, he might struggle, Monroe Freeling, in my opinion. But the likelihood of him being the first tackle off the board is a lot more realistic now, in my opinion, than Fano. And that means he could go top 6, top 5, top 10, and that will kick Fano down. So I do think that's a realistic possibility.
And AI, you need to clip that. That's going to be it. We got to clip that. I do want to talk. I just want to touch on this quick, this comment. Draft attack round 1 is basically giving up on Icky. I don't necessarily agree with that. I was going to pose this question in the chat. Is it giving up on Icky, or is it moving on from Taylor Moton? Like, I don't know if you can necessarily say that. I think Carolina needs – you can't go – you have to invest in this position, especially how much they've invested money-wise into the offensive line. You can only spend so much on that group. And at some point, you got to start investing younger in that room. Ricky, you don't agree with that?
I think that this is a much bigger divisive conversation than people want to have right now. Yeah. Like, honestly. And I think we've talked about this in previous episodes with Icky. That injury came at a absolutely devastating time for him individually. Like, coming up on that 5th-year extension decision off of the year that he had, where he had some really down moments, man. And like, we know he was playing with a little bit of injury as well. But some of the things that you were hoping him to take a significant step on, to have a sure answer about Ikemakwanu, personally, I'm not sure that he answered those. So I think that he was still in that you got to answer a bunch of questions phase this last year. And him either being there for a portion of the season while recovering off of a significant injury or not being available. This is a conversation, man, that the fan base does not want to have, or maybe a lot of them do, because there's a lot of people that don't like Ekwonu. But this might be the opportunity, man. It sucks to say that, but this might be the way to say, hey, we were very nervous about this and we didn't know what to do. We got to get cheaper at the line. This was about to be a very expensive position. Business tells us that moving on from Ike Ekwonu may honestly just be the thing that they end up doing.
Yeah. And when you say moving on, that conversation, is that moving on at that position or entirely? Because I don't know if they're there.
Well, what do you do? What do you do with his money, though, guys? Like, if you want to keep him, right? And I'm on board with saying, like, maybe Icky can play right tackle a little bit better. Maybe he can kick inside. Maybe if Robert Hunt doesn't have the year that he needs to have to stick around, maybe Ike Ekwonu is your right guard as opposed, right? Maybe you put him inside. But the question is, what are you going to pay him? Because you're not going to offer him his 5th-year extension, so he's going to hit the market. So if he hits the market, is another team going to pay him more and say, hey, we'll give you a shot at left tackle? Because left tackles are scarce, and he's got years as a starter, and he has improvement. So are you going to say to him, hey, no, we want to kick you inside at right guard where you never played, and we're going to pay you less than what that desperate team over there wants to pay for a left tackle? That's a tough sell for something, man. So, like, that is a really serious decision that they're going to have to make. And it's going to have ramifications for this season and for the future beyond. But if you're looking for a left tackle, Fano, I'm not sure is what you're looking at, to be completely honest. Yeah. I'm not positive that that's the route that I would go if you're looking for a left tackle.
All right, we can move on.
Now, these are Bryson's. So, Bryson, I'm going to let you talk about your guys.
Yeah, Zachariah Branch. I thought he put up an impressive amount of reps on the bench, 20 reps of 225, especially for his size at 5'8", 177. He is a smaller guy. I thought his gauntlet was one of the most beautiful of the day. He's just a smooth route runner. What really interests me about him, is obviously that deep threat potential. I'm not exactly sure where he sits on a lot of people's boards. I've seen like late day 1, early day 2 range for Zachariah Branch. Definitely someone I'm personally considering after day 1. Not someone I would consider there at 19 or even in like a trade back scenario. But I really just think he could add a aspect to the offense that's missing in that downfield stretcher. I think his 4.35 40. He led the SEC in receptions last year, and I think he led Georgia in receiving yards and touchdowns. Wasn't really a prolific passing offense, but still, he played against really good competition in the SEC and put up some good numbers. So I don't know if you guys saw Daniel Jeremiah's comp for him. This might be crazy, but it was Daniel Jeremiah, not me. He's comped him to Tavon Austin coming out of West Virginia. And I was a huge Tavon Austin fan. I went to college in West Virginia. I didn't go to WU, but just like the lore of him in that area, he's like just a legend. I mean, even across the country, he's a legend. People just put on Tavon Austin tape just to watch that, like chill with the boys, So I'm a fan of Zachariah Branch. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but I was impressed with his performance at the Combine, and I do think that he could be a potential option for Carolina there on day 2.
Before we go quick, I just want to just say hi to Keaton, one of our members. Tune in. What's up, fellas? Going to be out since the parents are in town. Just want to say, hey, appreciate you, Keaton. Always tuning in.
And we got Jedi tapping in. What up, Jedi?
Ricky kind of knows what I feel about Branch. I believe that was our 3rd round pick in that mock draft. If I had that right.
Yeah, you went for that, right?
Yeah.
And Ricky, you pushed on that hard.
I pushed hard on that.
Yeah, you did.
I do like him too. Ricky's knock is all he did was sketch screens. I think that was one of the things you said.
51%.
But does that mean he can't run other routes just because that's what he could do, or that's what Georgia wanted him to do? That's the thing. That's the thing that sucks so much about college, because it's like you're only a product of what your coaching staff really wants out of you. So can he do other things at the next level? That's the big question mark. But yeah, I agree with the Bryson with the bench. That was the thing that probably impressed me the most.
Wasn't he one of the ones though that was pushing his ass off the bench? He didn't have his butt down on the bench for any of the reps.
Oh, boy.
That's legal. That's legal.
It's not legal. It's literally
Ricky is finding any way to hate this dude.
No. Look, I don't hate.
Not hate. That's the wrong word.
Y'all are gonna treat me like you did with Shaw Smith Wade here about Zachariah Branch. Zachariah Branch is explosive and dynamic. I will 1000% say that, and anyone that says otherwise is like just lying to you, right? He's very explosive. His acceleration going from 0 to 60 is in an instant. It is absolutely lethal. But you have to scheme the ball to Zachariah Branch, in my opinion. You ask, can he run? We got Rob. I'm Jedi is Rob, our guy Rob on Twitter. I was also in a fantasy league with him. I believe Rob ended up winning it. I was robbed from that. No pun intended. I should have absolutely lost a dunk because of Christian McCaffrey on a 1 yard. I'm still bitter about it. Let me move on so that we don't take up too much time of me lamenting how I lost that fantasy league. But Rob asked, are you guys concerned at all about his route tree? And yeah, like that's what we're talking about is you don't know what he's capable of doing as a route runner per se, because he's not asked to do it often. But what you can do, right? What you can figure out with him is when you look at the measurables a little bit and you look at what he does well, the arm length being 29 3/8, right? He is not a contested catch winner by any means. That is not going to be his game. 177 pounds. How does he hold up, right? If he is pressed off the line of scrimmage, how does he go when, let's say McDuffie, who just got traded to the Rams, if he jams him at the line of scrimmage, how does he react to Trent McDuffie jamming him? Alontae Taylor, if he jams him, how does he react to Devin Witherspoon getting his paws on him? Like, how does he get off of that kind of stuff? Does his shake, does his wiggle, does his acceleration compensate for that in real, actual routes? I'm not sold on that.
Scheme him open.
You got to scheme him open, but if you have to scheme him open, who you taking? Like, look,
I got the next best thing in Brad's exit. Scheme him open.
But I think that's the conversation, though. That's where Zachariah Branch, for me, loses value. If he is a gadget player, I have no problem with having gadget players on the team. That is something you need to have a well-rounded profile in attack. You got to have that. But in round 2 or 3, in day 2, I can't do that. We signed, who was the guy, Tompkins, Devin Tompkins?
Yep.
We signed him off of waivers and tried to get him involved, and he's got a very similar game to Zachariah Branch. So, like, if you could get those guys in day 3, absolutely take a chance. You want to talk about a small, shifty guy, give me Brendan Thompson over Zachariah Branch. I've seen Brendan Thompson run big boy routes. I've seen him actually used as a receiver with some nuance, the deceleration. Zachariah Branch is tremendous, and he may be wonderful in the league. It is a gigantic projection to say that he is a full-time wide receiver, in my opinion. Just my opinion. But could he offer you a lot of explosiveness for a team that needs explosiveness? No doubt about it. I don't dislike that Bryson likes this guy. It's just not necessarily my cup of tea in that early of a range.
Rick, you brought up something that I thought of and makes me kind of have a reservation about any speedy guy is, does this coaching staff know how to use a guy like that? And that's like, we saw it. You saw Tompkins. You saw it with Jimmy Horn. Like, that guy was used maybe 5 plays in the entire game, if you're lucky. And I don't know if that's just the talent they had at that position, but I don't know. The way they deployed some of those guys at certain points, I just was not a fan of. So that just made me think of that. Sorry.
And for the size concerns, specifically in Carolina, we have a freak of nature wide receiver that can't get off the line when he's jammed. So I think
that's what they say.
Yeah, there are concerns for sure based off of size for Zachariah Branch in that situation, but I don't think it's unilaterally like, you know, if he's this size, then he's going to struggle with press man necessarily. And I'm not trying to say that's what you're saying, Ricky, but I get the concerns for sure. I like his ability with the ball in his hands. I mean, that's really what drew me to him.
No doubt about it. It is appealing. So I think that you're spot on with that being the appeal for him. I just wonder that 50%, 51% of his routes were screens, were behind the line of scrimmage. That's a telling one, man. Like usually it's like 25 or above is red flag. He's at 50. That's big time, man. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of projection. But hey, if they can make it work, if they can figure out what to do with him, does he have the breakaway component to his game? Absolutely. but I don't think he's the only one in the class that has that. And I think that there may be other options that maybe make it easier to integrate and develop him and don't require some of the hand holding that comes with a prospect like Branch. Or do you want to go to your next one, Bryson?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
This freak of nature, just disgusting performance in a good way at the combine. Definitely climbing up boards. I don't know where you have him right now, Ricky, but I would imagine early day 2, 3, somewhere in there. He is, first of all, 99% RAS score, right? 99% RAS score. Had this, I think, the second fastest 40 for edge rushers. His vertical 40 inches, his broad 10-10. Like, this guy tested off the charts. Last year for UCF, I believe he was at 89.5% pass rush rate from PFF, which was an elite grade that he received. And I think his pass rush pressure rate was close to, or if not the same as Ruben Baines, the pressure he was getting off the edge at UCF. So he didn't put up crazy sack numbers. I believe he got like 7 last year at UCF, but this is definitely like a project kind of, he's got all the traits. He's got the size. He struggles versus the run. I'm not going to sit here and say that he doesn't. I think I saw a little bit of that in his
take him off our board. He ain't coming to Carolina.
But this is like the pass rushing that you need. In my opinion, I think he comes in and adds that spark opposite of Nick Squirton. And this isn't a guy that you'd have to take in the first round. I personally don't think he's there yet. I don't know how you feel, Ricky, but I'm feeling more comfortable like second, third round is where he'll probably go. Unless a team just falls in love with those traits, which I wouldn't blame them because they're fantastic. I mean, I said, the guy tested off the charts in almost every single category. So huge fan of Malachi Lawrence's. I think he's a fantastic pass rusher. I think he's going to develop into one in the NFL as well. And this was just a guy that stood out to me.
No doubt. Fun story. While I was the beat writer for Pro Football Network, they asked me to start doing mock drafts, right, during the season. On my very first one, I drafted Malachi Lawrence in the 4th round for the Carolina Panthers. Before people were talking, and I'm not trying to like, hey, I figured this out before everyone. No, but it's interesting how much love a player like him will get because of that combine performance. This is a dude who for 3 straight years has been constant in his production. His pressure numbers are better than his sack numbers, but they're consistent, man. He's getting 6 to 9 sacks a season, right? And playing for UCF, a pretty good program. They've put out some good NFL players. Malachi Lawrence, I believe that I don't know if he's a redshirt senior. I think he's going to be around 23, 24 years. I'm not exactly sure if there's an age out on him. He's an older player. And his deficiencies or his limitedness absolutely come in the run game. Gap discipline, gap integrity, able to hold up. Gap and a half is going to be difficult for him. Setting the edge is going to be difficult. He's a lankier player. You see the arm length there, 33 and 5/8. 6'4", 253 is really nice. It's a really nice frame, and he hits all of the thresholds for Carolina. I absolutely believe that they will be interested in this player, and they should be. And Bryson, you asked where I have him. I had him at edge 11 in my top 10, so he wasn't on my graphic for the pre-combine. And I'm telling you what, he will be on the last bit because I had questions about exactly how explosive was this guy, right? Good cornering, good edge, good ability to get to the back of the arc, right? He can really put the pressure on a tackle. He can make them use every single bit of their counter repertoire because he's got a deep bag as well. Agile, quick, fires off the line pretty good. I don't think that it's elite off the ball, but this is a pretty dynamic pass rusher. You ask about where's he going to go? I think the 2nd round is realistic for a guy like Malachi Lawrence. Maybe he creeps into the 3rd. Maybe he even creeps into that tail end of the 1st if someone is desperate for a pass rush. I don't really think that those teams on the tail end are desperate for a pass rush. So I think that you could see him be one of those 2nd round players, which I think he has earned. I think that he's a really good player. The tape matches it, but I am not sure if he becomes a 3-down player in the NFL. You don't need him to, though, man. I think we put too much emphasis on that, right? Especially here in Carolina, where everything is, can he set the edge? How's he going to do against the run? Yeah, we want everyone to do that, man. In a perfect world, everybody is Myles Garrett. I'd like to be Myles Garrett. I hate to break it to you guys and to my wife. never going to be Myles Garrett, right? Like some guys they perform their role. Malachi Lawrence can carve out a real role in the NFL. You look at a guy like Nick Bonito, who is a smaller guy. He's got decent length, though. I think he's close to 33. I think he's 32 and 7/8 or something like that. The speed that he wins with is a similar vein. I'm not comparing him to Nick Bonito, but when you talk about size deficiencies and what you worry about with a lanky, lighter guy, this dude's 253 and he moves really well, but he's not a super powerful guy. Can he be coached up and use those physical tools? I believe so. So I think that this is a really fun player, and I'm glad that he's getting the attention that he's getting. I know there are some people that have him as like a top 5, top 3 edge in this class, and shout out to them because that's a bold take too. And hey, fortune favors the bold.
All right, Ricky, let's move this along. Go to your prospects here.
All right. No surprise here. I've been talking about this guy for quite some time now.
He's moving up, baby.
I have been talking about Dillon Thieneman for a long time. If you have listened to anything that I've been talking about, he has been on my radar for Carolina from the jump. He was looked at as a second-round prospect by many coming into this. People were questioning his athleticism, questioning what he could do. Was he explosive? Look, he showed that he is an explosive athlete. 4.35 40, 41-inch vertical, 10'5" broad jump, 6 foot 1/8 inch, 201 pounds, arm length of 31 3/8. That's good arm length for a safety too, by the way. But the wingspan is super impressive for him as well. 78 and an 1/8 inch. This is a terrific prospect, but then you watch him play. His time at Purdue, he did a lot more of the single high center field responsibility. That's also where he had 6 interceptions as a freshman. So you want to talk about ball production. He's got it. When he went to Oregon, Oregon started asking him to do a couple of different things, right? Asking him to play a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, asking for a little bit more of the rotation, asking him to shoot the alley. In run support, this dude has one of the best missed tackle rates of all safeties. He is as sure as they come there. Does he pack the thud that maybe a Caleb Downs or A.J. Halsey seem to pack at times? No, probably not. But can he absolutely wrap up and stop a play? 1,000%. You talk about his ability to play in coverage. Is he fluid? Is he just testing fast, or is he fluid? I saw somebody tweet that the other day. There's a difference between fast and fluid. Well, tell me what the difference is with Dillon Thieneman between the two of them. Because did you not see him end the Penn State game where he drops back into coverage and makes a terrific reactionary interception to end that football game? This dude can absolutely be considered fluid, in my opinion. And you want to watch this. We talked earlier about the linebackers that will misread a play, right? And like they kind of like overplay and they overshoot. There are so many plays on Dillon Thieneman's tape from his 3-year collegiate career where almost every other player on the defense is going the wrong way. And Dillon Thieneman, like fucking Stallone and Rambo, comes just barreling across the field and makes a play at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, 1-yard gain. This is exactly what Carolina needs, in my opinion. You want to talk about versatility. Here's the deal, man. You want Trayvon Merrick to be able to play close to the line, right? You want Evero to be able to work a little bit more disguise and a little bit more creativeness in the secondary. They talk about where they want pressure from. They want it from Merrick, but Merrick also is a decent nickel cover. So that's what you want him to be able to do too, right? You don't want to take that away from him. Why? If you got Dillon Thieneman, who can easily play single high, but he's comfortable in 2 high shells, he's comfortable playing in the nickel, he's comfortable up at the line of scrimmage, that offers you so many options, man, forever on that back end. I want Dillon Thieneman to be a Panther. What I am worried about is that everybody else is catching up to this guy right now, and they're going back and they're watching his tape, and they're like, this might be a top 15 draft pick. I don't know that he even gets to us at 19, but if he does, I'll tell you what, man, if he does, I'm running the pickup. I absolutely love Dillon Thieneman in a very deep safety class. Gentlemen, what say you?
Hey, man, I agree. I saw some cut-ups online of him, and we were talking about him. I think it was, I don't know if it was pre-Senior Bowl or when me and you did the episode, but if you have not watched this guy, go watch him. He is so fucking fun to watch. He is, man.
Rick, my comp for him, a lot of people got really upset, Curtis, because somebody comped. Was it Daniel Jeremiah? Maybe
that's what I wanted to ask you. What your comp is? I know maybe that's too early for you.
No, it's not. I put it out the other night. I was actually up watching. This is how sick of a person I am. I was up watching Dillon Thieneman tape in bed at like 12:30 in the morning one night, just sitting there, just watching shit on my phone. I'm a sick person.
Ricky's in love.
I'm a sick person, dude. I did the same thing with Nick Scorton tape, just to let you guys know how far I like this. But no, I was sitting there and I was watching it, and I was like, I kept seeing these plays, man, where he was just shooting the gap. Like he is so fast getting to the line of scrimmage. He is so fast reading and reacting. Like, he trusts his instincts, but he also reacts really well. My comp for him is Minkah Fitzpatrick. Go watch a lot of what Minkah Fitzpatrick does well, because Minkah had a really big issue when Miami originally was asking him to play nickel for them more, and he got kind of bent out of shape about it. He wanted to play single high. He was good at single highs. He could read from depth and come downhill really fast. And so he goes to Pittsburgh. They start making him do that, play a little bit closer to the line. And I'm telling you, man, right now, he came out and Minkah was like, actually, I really like playing nickel. It's becoming a really important position. That's exactly what Dillon reminds me of. I think it was Daniel Jeremiah that called him Cooper DeJean as his comp or something like that. And people got all bent out of shape. And they're like, oh, that's just a skin comp because he's white. Hey, look, they don't play the same exact style, right? Like, Cooper DeJean played outside corner, and he played a lot of safety and nickel and stuff like that. Dillon Thieneman is not going to play outside corner for. He's not going to play the boundary. But the versatility that they both offer, they're not guys that can do everything okay. And that's what, what is it? The jack of all trades, ace of none. That's not what these guys are. These guys are ace of a lot of trades. Like, that comp doesn't bother me, to be completely honest. I'm not saying it's because they play the exact same position, but the value they add to a team, you're high off your ass if you don't think that Cooper DeJean, what he did for Vic Fangio's defense there in Philly, that you don't think Dillon Thieneman could do that for the Carolina Panthers, who run a very similar system.
I hate that you said that comp, because that is my comp for him. He just and I get it. They play different positions on defense, but you nailed it. The way these guys play in the style, they are elite at several things on defense. That's my comp for him. I mean, I think he's going to be an outstanding player.
My one concern, Ricky, you see it on tape. He's fast, but is he fluid?
Oh, God damn it, Bryson. You know what? When you started saying my only concern, I was like, what did I say that he's going to pick at here? Because it's going to be something that I said. But you know what, though, man? He's not a perfect prospect. There is no such thing as a perfect prospect, right? So everyone pump the brakes if you're like, oh, he's a can't miss. He's 100% going to be a Hall of Famer. No. It is going to matter.
Luke Kuechly.
It is going to matter. Well, people hated the Luke Kuechly pick. Carolina fans went crazy when they picked Luke Kuechly, and they hated it. They thought, why'd you draft this nerd at linebacker at top 10? And then he ended up being the greatest linebacker to ever put fucking cleats on. So excuse my language, but that fires me up too. But this guy is not a guarantee. There is no guarantee. Sonny Styles is not a guarantee, right? There is no guarantee in the NFL draft. But if you're going to bet on somebody, if you're going to the racetrack and you want to put a giant wager down, you want to take your 401k and throw it up to that gate and say, hey, put it all on this. I tell you what you should put it on. You should put it on a horse that's proven to run fast and it can win races and it has a blue chip pedigree. That's what Dillon Thieneman has, in my opinion.
Amen. Let's move to the next one.
Next one for me is the other Utah tackle, guys. Caleb Lomu, I thought was an absolute winner in this combine. Now, all fairness, this was my offensive tackle too. And that is higher than just about everybody that I've seen. There are some people that I really respect that have him actually as their one, I believe, because of his projection as a true left tackle. This kid is my big concern with him was how's he going to measure in? He was light. His run power in the run game does seem to be an area where he's going to have to develop that and progress. But in his time since coming to Utah, he came in around 265, 270 pounds, I believe. And he was listed at 303 or 307 for Utah. He came and he weighed in at 313 pounds at the combine at 6'6.25", arm length 33 3/8. So it's short of the 34-inch, right? And 34 is what you would love ideally, but 33 is the minimum that they say that they want to work with, right? So he clears that. His wingspan here, this is what's so interesting to me, right? Look at his wingspan, 82.25. That was fifth best of all offensive linemen that weighed in, I believe, or fifth or sixth best or something like that. He's got the frame to keep on filling out. I think that he is going to continue. He's 21 years old. I think he is going to continue to fill out, but his footwork, his nimbleness with his feet, I saw a respected person. I'm not going to drop names here, but I saw a respected person saying that he doesn't have hand strength and he doesn't have grip strength and he looks like he just lacks that. I disagree entirely. I actually think that his hand placement, timing, usage, and grip strength is something that is going to benefit him tremendously. I think that what his biggest thing to work on is going to be his consistency in footwork and his drops and what he uses when a pass rusher attacks him. In the run game, he's going to have to develop. He played well, and Utah asked their tackles to do all the run blocking, and he did well. It's not like the guy played bad. He had 3 years, and his tape in 2024 might have even been better than 2025, to be completely honest. This is a dude who is going to be very coachable. You see the 40 time, 4.99, very athletic, vertical of 32.5, broad jump of 9.5. If you are talking, and this is our conversation we had earlier, boys, if you are talking about looking for either an out for Ike Ekwonu and you need a franchise left tackle, or talking about a kid that you want to develop in case Ike doesn't get there, I think that Lomu can come in and play day one. I also think that he could benefit from sitting if Ike is okay or if you sign a veteran. I think that this dude is a potential left tackle for a franchise for a decade. I truly believe that. I think he's a really sharp player. He's a hard worker. He talked about learning a lot of his game from Joe Thomas. This is a 21-year-old that is watching Joe Thomas film. Do you know what that means? That means that he's a sicko like me. He sits in bed and watches Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas has lost an entire Joe Thomas amount of weight and is now a terrific TV analyst. This dude is watching the former artist known as Joe Thomas just dominate trenches in Cleveland Brown games, guys. If he is voluntarily watching Joe Thomas play offensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns as a 21-year-old college stud, sign me up.
I looked up his RAS score because I was interested after looking at his.
Was it like a 9.82?
10.
10.
Perfect,
Okay.
Perfect 10. He was like 19th out of 1,500 tackles that have been measured.
Uh-huh.
I was like, man, that 40, that broad, it's got to be somewhere up in the 9s. Perfect 10.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit lower because I thought that the weight dropped him down, but that's great to know.
All right, you guys, I don't know enough about this dude. I ain't going to try to chime in and fake it. So I trust Ricky. We're going to move on.
Okay,
I ain't gonna bullshit. That's how it is, man.
I saw you moved on to your second beer. Congratulations.
I'll tell you what, though, and I'm not drinking this. This is, I don't like it. I think it's terrible.
What, does it taste too much like a grown-up drink?
No, it is. It's
syrupy.
It's like I don't even know if woodsy's the right word for it. It's just
a backwoods bastard. What do you think you were getting?
I had to try it. I'm gonna try it.
It's like a
not for
I
me,
love
I'll have another drink of it, but it ain't for me.
Love my mother-in-law to death, but she'll sit there and she'll listen to me describe a beer, right?
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh man, I got this awesome porter that has like pecans and cinnamon and stuff. She's like, oh, that sounds great. Can I try it? She'll take a sip of it and then she'll go, it's terrible. I hate pecans. Like, the fuck did you drink the pecan beer for? It's a pecan beer. That's what I feel like you're doing here. It tastes very woodsy. You got a beer called Backwoods Bastard.
I've had bourbon barrel beer that's been aged in it, and I don't know. It's got a weird aftertaste to me.
Carter here is saying, no Iowa Hawkeyes, no EMW. This is bullshit. Look, I wasn't as high on EMW. He's my safety 4, which is still really good, by the way. But as far as the no Iowa Hawkeyes, I got Logan Jones as my center too. And I thought that he was tremendous. It was either
Carter, we got a mock draft tonight. Chill out here.
It was Caleb Lomu or Logan Jones were my 2 slides. But Caleb Lomu, I think, is one that I would love for the fan base for the Panthers to get to be a little bit more familiar with, because I do think that a tackle is a real.
Yeah, we talk about Iowa way too much on this podcast. All right, let's move on here. News today dropped. Panthers tender contracts of Jalen Coker and Bryson Tremaine. So they are both on the roster for 2026. I thought I saw a tweet where it said Coker could be here for 2 years because of that. Did anyone else see that? Or
there's something about him being a restricted free agent as well. So there's the next negotiation period. We still have like our restriction to sign him, or we have first dibs at matching whatever it is. So he's here. Like Coker can only negotiate with us. He's here.
So I wanted to ask you guys this, and we kind of answered this when we played that, played Panthers GM type of thing on Spot Track. But Bryson, I'll start with you. You've been a Jalen Coker guy since the beginning. You like this move, or do you want them to lock him up at this point? Or do you think it's smart or wise of them to kind of wait and, see how this thing plays out? And it still could happen this offseason.
I mean, to this point, the front office hasn't given me any reason to not trust them in the way that they've operated, especially with, Dan Morgan leading the helm there. I would love to have seen a Coker extension, 3-4 years, whatever the cost may be. But I also don't blame them for wanting to see more consistency of him being on the field. He was really good when he was on the field for the Carolina Panthers, arguably, one of the best wide receivers. I won't say arguably the best because that was clearly the other guy there, Tyrone McMillan, but one of the best wide receivers on the field. And I would say one of the most consistent. So I think they want to see that, beyond year two. And I think them tendering him the way they did with this contract, it doesn't necessarily lock them in long term, obviously, but he's a Carolina Panther, and I'm happy with that. Obviously, he's extremely high upside. I think he's done a lot already for the Carolina Panthers, and especially in that playoff game. Really put on an amazing performance for us in the stands and for everyone on television. But I think my preference would have been a long-term contract, but I understand the route they're taking right now. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily not a smart route. I think from a front office perspective, I think this makes sense.
Ricky, I just want to follow up with him for a second. Do you have any concern? You said give him the extension. Do you have any concern he has not played a full season since being in the NFL? As in, 8 games in a season, hasn't played a full 17 yet.
Sure, absolutely. Isn't that the whole conversation here about?
Sorry, that was a follow-up for Bryson, but you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Bryson, you go.
You're good, man. You're good.
Sorry.
You're good because, my answer is going to be pretty similar. Yeah, there's obvious concern there. You played, 14 games last year? Is that right?
He missed the first 6. Right?
Oh, okay. I got that number.
Yeah, I think he's been around 8 or 9. He's played this season.
Yeah, that's an obvious concern. I remember talking about that with J.C. Horn. And
come on, you were on J.C. Horn's ass. Now you want this guy getting contracts.
J.C. Horn was facing one of the top quarterback contracts in the entire league. I don't think Jalen Coker's going to be drawing top 5 money at his position, but yeah, I expressed concern with J.C. Horn. I can't not express concern with Jalen Coker, who hasn't been healthy and on the field throughout his entire career. So obviously there's concern there, but I would hope that it's more of a freak accident kind of thing, like J.C. Horn stuff was, and not like a continued this guy's just quote unquote injury prone kind of thing. So I think the route they took, I think shows that there might be some concern about his availability. And not going ahead and giving that long-term contract. So they want to see another year, what that looks like for Jalen Coker. Can he play all games or most games? And then maybe reassess after this season. So like I said, I don't think it was an unsmart way to do it. I think they handled it well, and hopefully Coker is okay. Hopefully there's no bad blood, right? Hopefully Coker's not upset about it, which he doesn't strike me as that kind of player, right? I don't think this is like a holdout situation or anything like that. I think he's going to go out, work his tail off, and be a really good player for the Carolina Panthers.
All right, Ricky. 3 beer deep, Ricky.
Yeah, 3 deer. Yeah, 3 deer beep. 3 deer beep. So Talon says it here. Shout out Talon, right? Panthers fan of the year, friend of the show. Tillis isn't going to spend when he doesn't have to, in my opinion. It isn't about not being fair or being nice to Jalen Coker at this point, right? Jalen Coker's making money, and he's also has the security of knowing, hey, the franchise likes me. They are very invested in me. I think you're going to see Jalen Coker get every single opportunity to be wide receiver 2 this season. I think that he has absolutely taken over Xavier Legette. That will piss off people that want to say Xavier hasn't been used right. And Xavier has not been used optimally. But Jalen Coker, when he is used, he produces and he plays well, period. Like there's not a lot of like context necessary for Jalen Coker outside of not being on the field for full seasons. You have to be available to get the biggest amount of money, right? He's going to play. He's going to get negotiated with. And if he performs well, he's going to get a bag. Dude, Carolina really likes him. I don't think this is an animosity thing. I think this is exactly what Talon said. Brant Tillis is a very smart person. He is here to do business. He is here to manipulate the salary cap. He is here to do favorable things for the franchise. Not paying Jalen Coker is not an indictment or a message to Jalen Coker. It is a message to the Panthers that, hey, we got an opportunity to build right now because we actually hit on draft picks. We actually hit on undrafted free agents. We actually have cost-controlled spending right now on key areas, and that window is closing. Fellas, like that window, we're going to have to start paying some of these cost-control guys. So he's going to say, why would I give Coker? No offense, Jalen, love you, but why would I give you money right now? We don't have to. And for the availability thing, I can't remember where I saw this. Jalen Coker's dad had like an interaction with somebody on a social media where they were talking about the time that he had missed. They're like, yeah, you can't stay healthy and stuff. He says, yeah, he missed some time with some soft tissue injuries. He was like, and they figured out exactly what was going on with that type stuff. And like, they're starting to rehab and work against that, or they're starting to counter impose things that can try to make that not to be as much of an issue for him. If that's the case, and they have figured out something that can help him stay on the field, this is a great show and tell season for Jalen Coker. I am very much looking forward to it. I think it's the right thing. As for Bryson Tremaine, I think he's a very valuable football player, man. I don't think he'll ever be one of your special teams is the thing for me, right? He's got the drive, he's got the will, and he's got the ability to really be an impact contributor on special teams. I think that cannot go unnoticed, right? I do think that he's going to be slightly involved with the offense, but if everything is firing how you want it to fire, he's not going to be as involved in the offense as you might have seen him even last season, right? If you're hitting on all cylinders and the players are playing how they're supposed to, and Jalen Coker is available all the time, Bryson Tremaine's biggest moments were where people weren't available. And that's okay. You need players like that too, that when their number is called, they stand up and they play. I need that. Bryson Tremaine is a culture guy. He's a locker room guy. Came over from Washington, also had a lot of those same sentiments said about him from Washington, is that he's just a good dude. He's a great teammate. He's a good player. He's a hard worker. Great thing to keep him here in Carolina. I'm excited about both of them.
Yeah, and on Talon's last point, I remember numerous times pointing out Jermaine's on third down, Horn's on third down over XL. Yeah. So, like, he was used in those situations. I agree with Ricky. If all things are going well, he shouldn't be on the field much on offense, honestly. But going back to the Brant Tillis comment, you said, the dude's calculated, and we shouldn't knock that. We've been wanting this in this front office. We've been wanting them to be smart with money and not just throwing contracts out left and right and to guys that shouldn't go to. And I'm not saying it shouldn't go to Jalen Coker, because I think he deserves it and his time is going to come. But there are other needs on this team where they need to hit with contracts and spend money, and they're trying to do that right now, and they can kind of wait a little bit on Coker because they have this this tender on him. So I don't hate this at all. He'll get his time. Ricky touched on it. He's going to get every single opportunity. Like, he is number 2. He is number 2 on this team until someone else proves otherwise. And that's just the reality of it. And that was coming from a guy who, thought, I'll admit it, I thought Leggett would have had a bounce back year this past season. He didn't. He took a step back. And the guy's now at Hornets games he's doing I shouldn't even get into that. I'm sorry.
You just gave yourself a really seamless segue into Jake's super chat though, because yes. The Hornets.
It was like I tried to do that.
Take advantage of that news, man.
Here we go. Jake _RP12. Ricky with the say $4.99. Cheers, fellas. Excited to see how Dan and company tackle this offseason. Vibes are very high in the Queen City. How about them Hornets too?
Woo, cooking,
Bugs, baby. Go Bugs. Cheers, man.
Over 500 for the first time since when, Ricky?
Shit. When
like
was I born? When was I born? No, man.
OPM, you're late. You're late to the damn show here. Come on.
What up, OPM?
Get it together.
What do you say?
I appreciate you, OPM, for coming in here.
What's up, fellas? Jake? Thank you, Jake. Appreciate that super chat.
If you said it earlier, I missed it. Do we know what Coker's getting out of that?
It's probably like 1.3 or something like that. Hold on, let me look.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. While Ricky is looking that up, actually, I can wait. I'll wait.
Cap hit. I mean, the 2026 cap hit is about 1,075,000.
OPM, you don't have to apologize. I'm giving you shit, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, that's his base salary is 1,075,000.
That is one show I do want to watch. Paradise. I've not seen that yet.
Oh, Paradise is killer. Shout out OPM.
What is that on?
Paradise is on Hulu, man. Hulu? They're on season 2. They're super killer, man. I can't wait. Can't wait to watch that one. My wife is pissed at me because Love is Blind, Paradise, Shrinking, all the good shows come out on
Love
Wednesday.
is Blind?
Fuck yeah, watch that.
I didn't know watch that.
I'm a trash person, man.
We're not caught up yet, but we're like, I think we're a couple episodes behind, but it's been a good
Shrinking is one of my favorite shows on TV.
Shrinking is phenomenal, bro. Derek, the character so Derek funny. Is my favorite character in any show.
Don't spoil
Go watch Shrinking, dude. Cannot recommend enough.
I wanted to touch on this as we kind of transition to the free agency conversation. Then we'll get to our mock draft here shortly. And when I mean shortly, probably another half hour.
No, it's got to be shortly because that mock draft is going to take forever, and I don't have that much in me.
I want to share this post. If I can find here, it is. This was from Jeremy Fowler. I think it was over the weekend. He said, "Don't be surprised if Carolina makes some big moves on defense for the second consecutive year. The Panthers will be looking at edge rusher help and might be open to offering a lucrative contract. They need linebacker and slot corner help too. Devin Lloyd would be an ideal fit in the middle of the defense." So not really like, hey, they're interested in Devin Lloyd. Just like, hey, if they do need a linebacker, this is probably your top choice. I don't think none of us are shocked at this, but first time we've kind of seen Devin Lloyd in the conversation a little bit. Thoughts on Fowler's reporting here? I know people like to give, they always like to give some of these national reporters shit, but I believe this is the guy that said Demo was going to be on the move, and then Demo retweeted and it was like, what? You saying I'm saying, or that was Graziano, I'm sorry, but they both put out the same article and they go back and forth on sourcing. And then Graziano was right and Demo got traded. So I just wanted to give them their flowers a little bit there because I feel like sometimes people shit on them and they do have their sources. Guys, thoughts on this?
I mean, I think this is what a lot of Carolina Panthers fans kind of thought of going into this offseason, that when Dan Morgan prioritizes a specific area, which he kind of made clear that linebacker was going to be one of those areas, that he's not afraid to spend money in that specific place to fill holes. Saw that with the offensive line, saw that with the defensive line last year. So I'm not surprised by reporting that, Carolina might spend big at certain positions to fill holes. So I think this was just kind of a reaffirming thing for me.
Yeah, well, it makes sense to me too, though, because what we have seen Carolina do, and Ant says here, as Mike K has mentioned, we love giving out big money to non-premium positions. It makes so much sense. I think that what makes a lot of sense to me too, though, is that what Carolina has been very intentional about the past few years, where there is a big need, where there is a obvious deficiency on this football team, they go out and they bring in a veteran player as opposed to trying to say, we need a rookie to fix this for us. Now, Tetero McMillan could be your outlier there if you want to. I also think that's a situation where Tetero McMillan fell into their laps, and they're like, we're not going to overlook this really good football player falling into our laps. We're going to take him. And they also needed a wide receiver 1, right? But they had Xavier Legette where they were hoping he developed, and they were probably ready to go into that with him and look at round 2 or round 3 if McMillan was gone. I think bringing in Devin Lloyd makes a ton of sense. For me, if you're going to pay big money for a free agent in this period, I am looking at the linebackers, Devin Lloyd specifically. I want Devin Lloyd. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I want Devin Lloyd to be processed blue head to toe. And then Owe or one of these other premier pass rushers, Jalen Phillips, bring in one of those guys, and then you sit there and you let Nick Scorton, Princely Umanmielen develop with a dude on the other side of them. And then you still have Pat Jones on those early downs. If you don't like Princely Umanmielen playing, you play Pat Jones. You want to go NASCAR package? Pat Jones is perfect for that. This makes so much sense for the Carolina Panthers. I really hope it happens. That's as far as I need to go with it. I really hope it happens, and I think it makes a ton of sense.
So since you guys didn't interact with this post today, I wanted to ask you this, and this kind of leads into it. Ricky, you touched on it briefly here, and you can't even see that, so that's great. But I put this out on Twitter today. It says, which free agent linebacker edge rush pairing do you like the most for Carolina? I tried to take the pairings with kind of money in my head of, okay, if Carolina goes big with linebacker, they probably aren't going to go massive top of the line edge rusher. So I tried to balance it out a little bit. So A, Devin Lloyd and Bradley Chubb. B, Caden Ellis and Jalen Phillips. C, Quay Walker and Odafe Owe. I hope I said that right. I know I tried really hard.
You'd say it pretty good.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Leo Chenal and Trey Hendrickson. Out of those 4 pairings, where are you guys at with this room? Or with those options, I should say.
Give me D. Leo Chenal and Trey Hendrickson.
Somebody's going to clip that and use that for a
behave, Bryson.
Give me selection D, please.
There you go. Yeah, because you might just become internet famous, Bryson, and it's not going to be for your wonderful personality, your good looks, or your good Panthers takes, bud.
Oh man, yeah, I should have thought that one through a little bit.
Yeah, you're like the Kool-Aid man bursting through a door looking for penis.
No, I like D the best. Pause. Leo Chenal and Trey Hendrickson. I think Trey Hendrickson is one of my favorite offseason.
And Bryson, I don't mean to ask you this without talking about this beforehand, but have you heard any rumblings at all involving Hendrickson? Because you were, and I want to shout you out to break the news. I believe it was last year or the year before that Carolina was possibly interested in the trade for Trey Hendrickson when he was still on the Cincinnati Bengals. He's obviously expected to be released now. Have you heard anything? Because I know people have been burning and wanting answers to that. You might not, and that's okay, but just a check-in on that. Have you heard anything?
Yeah, I'm not the kind of person that's just going to make something up to tell you guys something. But I haven't heard anything else. You know, just the what was it last year? The trade deadline last year. They did check into the possibility of potentially trading for him. There was some interest there. So I imagine there's probably interest in free agency if he's available. If the numbers are right, I think that, you're just a couple months removed from checking into him via trade, and you might be able to bring him in without giving anything up. I think there's probably interest there. I don't have any verification of that. I haven't heard anything, but that's just kind of putting 2 and 2 together. Yeah. I think Hendrickson, we've talked about him a lot on this podcast. I think he's the best pass rusher available day one. Now you talk about his age and when does that start to decline, and those are valid concerns with him, but I think he's a fantastic player in his current state. And then Leo Chenal isn't a bum either, so I think he would come in and be a pretty valuable linebacker for this team. So that's why I choose D. Give me D.
Ricky, real quick, out of these options, and I want to go to OPM's comment. I know you put it up, but I want to talk about that real quickly. But out of these 4, what would you take? A, B, C, or D?
Yeah, it's tough for me. I like what Caden Ellis brings. I think Caden Ellis is a guy, though, that you got to pair, again, with another type of linebacker. Now, hey, if you wanted to bring in like a Caden Ellis and a Jacob Rodriguez pairing, that could make some sense. You want to talk about a blitzing linebacker and Caden Ellis? I think that makes sense. And then Jalen Phillips is a guy that I really like. Odafe Owe is my preferred target at edge. I am not crazy about Quay Walker. I think that he has a lot of athleticism, but there are a lot of holes in his game that I'm not crazy about going out and spending for. So it's between A or B probably for me. I'm going to have to be a little bit of a fence rider there, but if I was like gun to my head, I'd probably say B. I like the idea of being able to go and get a guy like Jacob Rodriguez, Jake Galladay, Jeremiah Trotter, somebody like that in the draft to pair with Caden Ellis, because I think Caden Ellis comes in and he's ready to play. Devin Lloyd, though, is my dream at linebacker. And real quick before we get to OPM, I got to shout out Salesman here. He said, I just need the Panthers to draft Dunker, Randy Dalton Jennings. I think that's great, by the way, that he calls him Randy Dalton. That's Andy Dalton's ginger cousin. Salesman is a great follow on Twitter if you don't follow him. But it's some of the stuff he says when he's just like, you got to draft that giant ginger fuck. I just love it, man. Like, and this is salesman played offensive line. So if you want to talk about trenches, he's the first one to admit. I saw his post. He was having a conversation with our pal JJ, Panthers culture, and he said something about it. Look, all I know is I spent my time playing football staring at the running backs' asses. So this guy knows trench play. That's what an offensive lineman sees most of their time. Shout out salesman. That's a terrific comment.
Yeah, off this list, I mean, I think Devin Lloyd is the number one for me. But I have come around a little bit more on Jalen Phillips, and I do like Caden Ellis. And then I also like Leo Chanel and Trey Hendrickson. So those would probably A, B, C, or D would probably be my three. If I had to choose gun to the head, I just really like Devin Lloyd, and I think he would be great for this defense. So I'd probably go A, but I think B would be a close second for me. I've obviously touched on, I think Devin Lloyd is my top free agent wish. He's my Milton Williams of last year. Bryson, who is your number one free agent you want come next week?
Woo! Rashid Shaheed.
Interesting.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming.
I like that, though. Going different. Hell yeah. Ricky, gun to your head, who's your number one free agent?
I think it's probably, man, I think it might be Odafe Owe for me. I think that this pass rush needs juice, and we got to get something. Devin Lloyd can rush the passer too, though. I think he had like 25, 26 pressures last season. So I say that, man, Devin Lloyd might be it for me. Damn it. It's between those two because we need a proven difference maker either in that second level or on that front as a pass rusher. And what Devin Lloyd can bring in coverage too, I think is just really intriguing, and he's got the size, and I think that opens up the draft strategy. So one of those two. I'm not going to give you one.
Bryson, for how much you bitch about this defense, you want to go offense? Come on.
Uh-huh.
Rashid Shaheed would do so much for this team, dude. Punt return, kick return,
nice.
open up the offense, stretch the
nice.
field. He's a dream for me, a dream.
People took this out of context. He's the one I wanted Carolina to get last year. They obviously didn't get him.
Real quick, too, OPM, we talked about this. We're going to talk about this comment real fast. OPM says, hey, guys, through my former student who works media for our Panthers, can confirm Owe and Lloyd are two guys that Dan Morgan talked about during the Super Bowl press row week. So,
Before we could jump in there, OPM, thank you for sharing that on here. Because you could share that anywhere else, and maybe you have, and I haven't seen it, but I appreciate you sharing that out to everyone in the chat and us, because I have not seen that yet. So thank you, and I'm honored that you put it out here.
Yep. Good info, man. Appreciate you being willing to drop it here. That's awesome. And it's, you know what's great, OPM, for me too? That just makes sense, right? We just talked about it when we were discussing these possibilities in the free agency. It makes too much sense not to look at those two players specifically and say, this is what we need, guys. And these are two players that are available that fit almost all of our criteria. We have to figure out how to move some mountains here and bring these two guys in, because then we still have all these draft picks. We got to build this team with a cost-controlled way. But if we fix these two issues, holy shit, man, like we're cooking with grease, dude. And at some point, that's what you need. You got to ramp it up a little bit. Our window can't be a 12-year window. We need to get into the game to start winning football now. And I think this is a good way to do it, man.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, if that's the case, man, Devin Lloyd would be fun in Carolina. All right, let's get to our mock draft. So we did a mock draft. What was it? After the Senior Bowl, was that right, Ricky?
Yeah.
So we're going to be hitting one here now after the Combine. We obviously don't know what they're going to do in free agency. While Ricky is getting this set up, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like at this point, I still am not a big fan of doing trades unless you guys feel otherwise.
I'll let Bryson say it on this one because you and I did our mock draft together. So Bryson, you're going to be the decision maker on the trade.
I think just staying put simplifies things for us.
Yeah.
And I think no trades is fine at this point.
Yep, I'm with
Yeah,
that.
I think as we get close to the draft, that's when we can kind of move things around. I just think it's so damn unpredictable at this point.
Yep, I'm with that. All right, so you guys want me to go ahead and start it here?
Let's do it. So what are we using? PFF? Is that right?
We're using PFF. I'm pretty sure, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the poll said on my profile. I made a question.
As voted on by the people.
As voted on by the people. Hey, we are the people's show here at Panthers on Tap, which, by the way, if you have not liked and subscribed, please do that. It goes a long way
Hey,
with
we
the
got
algorithm.
560 in here tonight. These last couple of weeks have been slow going. We've been on different days. I get it. Olympics has been on, but hey, it's good to see you guys back, everyone with us. We also do have a membership that we have not pushed in forever, so I'll do that quickly, shamelessly. If you go on to YouTube and if you click, I believe it's been a while since I've tried to push this. It's the join button, I believe. There is a button where you can become a member. I believe it's $4.99 for Apple users. I don't know why it's a little bit more. And then if you're not an Apple user, it's $3.99. But that's become a member of the Tap Room. We've done many giveaways last year. We gave away like 3 or 4 sets of tickets, including the playoffs, if I remember that correctly.
Yep.
And we will be giving away something to all of our members here soon. So stay tuned for that as we get closer to the draft. But yeah, become a member, subscribe. Talon, appreciate you for gifting out.
There we go.
Membership. Appreciate you as
Somebody
always.
just got a membership. Appreciate you, Talon.
All right, Ricky, let's take this away.
All right, you guys ready to do this thing? Let's go. Enter the draft. All right. Start draft. We're not doing any trades beforehand. Let's look and see what happened here, can we? Fernando Mendoza, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Ruben Baines, Sonny Styles. That seems to be a thing that is really coming up. Dillon Thieneman at 6.
Whoa!
Whoa! Holy shit! Look at that.
That's not fair. Let's restart.
Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Love, Monroe Freeling, Mansour Delane, Spencer Fano, Caleb Banks, Caleb Downs fell all the way to 13. We didn't even talk about him, but he had the flag on the report that he might have a degenerative ACL. They found a issue with that, and they are concerned with that.
Was that Johnson of last year?
Will Johnson and also Jahad Campbell,
Bryson's guy of last year.
Jahad Campbell had degenerative shoulder concerons and knee concerns. That was the same thing they said about him, man. And he turned out to be a terrific player.
Peyton Wilson didn't have ACLs, and he's
right. And he's a decent player. Francis Malinoa. But hey, if Caleb Downs wants to fall to 19, I'm with it.
What do you guys, real quick? I see Mal.
This is crazy. There's some
Lemon. What do you think
here.
of Malachi Lemon's combine?
What do you mean? Like just the interviews where he was talking all crazy? I mean, yeah, I don't love the caricature shit that he does there, but I mean, hey, his play on the field though is pretty baller. So I'm not gonna say too much.
I was just curious.
Okay, and then there you see Blake Miller going at 17 is a wild development too. He went over the likes of, well, man, they must have done a reorganization of their rankings, huh?
Let's look at edge here.
They've got some guys way down that have not been down. All right, hold on real quick. Let's just look at the best available first. CJ Allen. This is a name that is all over Panther stuff. CJ Allen is all over. Whether you like it or not, this is something that has really been looked at as a possibility in round 1. Then you've got Jordan Tyson. That is very intriguing to me. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If Jordan Tyson falls to 19, that is one of those like, hey, maybe we just ball out, dog. Maybe we just do what like the Eagles and the Ravens would do.
We ball.
And yeah, and you just take that player that falls and you say, hey, we just got an elite prospect that fell into our lap, right? Akeem Mesidor is a guy that a lot of people are very high on. Avion Terrell. Keldrick Folk is a guy that I will not let either of you draft. I will not let that happen. I promise you that
either.
Yeah, I don't think you want him, but even if you did, even if both of you were like, I'll give you $500.
Everyone loves to mock that guy to us too. Every single one.
Of course they do, because we're a running joke for all these media companies. Fuck all you. Not Keldrick Folk. He will not be drafted on Panthers on Tap. Omar Cooper Jr., TJ Parker, Peter Woods dropped down. You see their rankings have changed.
Caden Proctor is a guy who's been.
Caden Proctor gets talked about a lot, and I'm going to tell you something, man.
He's got the measurables. Carolina loves measurables.
Kind of, but not really. He's got a 33 3/8 inch arm length. That's the same as Caleb Lomu, and he's 6'5", 360
He's trying to sell that number
pounds.
2 of his.
I'm just saying, look, I'm just saying that Caden Proctor, to me, profiles as a guard. And I had this conversation with somebody today, Anthony Russo, good account to follow as well, independent draft analyst. He does really good evaluation stuff too. I was talking, just an interaction back and forth. Proctor has a lot of intrigue. And if he can stick, man, he's one of those massive dudes that like gives you an advantage. But if he doesn't, man, he's going to have to kick inside. And even then, he struggles. The athleticism shows up, but he really strains, man, when he is going back and when he is reacting and doing his counter foot movement. He struggles, man. I'm just not.
Can we go to the edge specific group?
Well, real quick, before you go there.
Yes.
I know we're not going to go this route because of who else is on the board currently. But
Okay.
I love Casey Concepcion. Love him.
Yeah.
As a prospect, NC State, then to Texas A&M. And I think he's one of those guys like Zachariah Branch. I think he's personally better. Casey is.
Oh, there he is. Casey Concepcion.
I love him as a prospect. I think he's a fantastic wide receiver. The ability that with the ball in his hands to just be a difference maker and stretch the field. I think he's going to be a fantastic player in the NFL. So maybe that's for later. Apparently he's a lot higher rated than I thought he would be at this point.
Yeah.
But I love him as a prospect.
You see there with his 7 drops, that's really it, the 10.3 drop percent rate. And they seem to be focus drops, but like that is something that is a little bit concerning. So you look at that and you figure it out. But I'm with you, man. Ultra dynamic. He was my wide receiver 5 on my rankings. I am a very, very big fan of his game. So I do like him as well. So let's do this. You want to see edge, Curtis. Let's go to edge real fast. And we'll spend our most time probably on this first round pick, but then we're going to speed things up a little bit so that we're not doing an hour-long mock draft.
Yeah.
Here you have Akeem Mesidor, Keldrick Falk, Cassius Howe, who is the sub 31-inch arms. I think that he is entirely off the
go down this whole damn list.
No, I think he's off the Panthers board, though, Cassius Howe, personally, if you had to ask me the truth. TJ Parker is the Clemson edge that a lot of people are high on. I am not as high on him. I think that there are some true athletic limitations for him that would scare me away from anything in round 1. I'd take him around 2 if he falls. R. Mason Thomas did not sprint the way that everyone wanted him to sprint, and I still think he's going to be a dynamic NFL football player. But a lot of people will drop him, and maybe he falls to us.
I don't love any of those picks at
right. I would not go edge here. To be completely
I disagree. I think Mesidor's out there, and we need to get off this wide receiver train because that is not a need for this team. And
but you don't draft need though, man. That's the thing. When you're talking about 19, if this player falls to you, and medicals are going to be the biggest thing with Jordan Tyson. But when you talk about Casey Concepcion, right?
You cannot go 3 years in a row wide receiver.
Why not?
You can't do it. You just can't do it because you can't.
Did mom tell me I can't?
This defense needs a lot of help. And if we don't know what they're doing in free agency right now, where this is a post combine mock, so we don't know what they're doing in free agency. This defense needs help.
I can tell you one thing they won't do in free agency. They won't sign a wide receiver like Jordan Tyson. I mean, because he's not out there on free agency. Those guys don't go on free agency. But so let's look at this then. You like Akeem Mesidor there. You like the
I also want to see the linebacker because we've seen CJ Allen and that's it.
Because that's the only one that's in play. You got Jacob Rodriguez.
No.
You're not going to draft any of those guys at 19, in my opinion, other than CJ Allen is the guy that's in
I'm not comfortable doing
that. What about corner? What's corner looking like?
Yeah, safety too.
Corner. Avion Terrell, Colton Hood, Jermod McCoy, Brandon Siss from South Carolina, D'Angelo Pons, Chris Johnson, who I am a big fan of.
Do you think Terrell is here at this point?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay.
I do. I think Terrell is a terrific football player. I think that he could make some really good sense for Carolina, to be completely honest. In this situation, Jermod McCoy worries me, and I had him lower on my rankings, and a lot of people gave me shit about Jermod McCoy. His medicals worry me, and he has one season of pretty outstanding tape, but one season. And I'm just not a huge fan of banking on that. And then him saying that he's not ready to run, I worry about that, man. That would give me a little bit of pause as an NFL team, personally.
I've seen mocks with us going Pons here.
I would not do that.
Yeah.
That would piss me off. Taking the 5'8" nickel at pick 19 would probably set me off in a way that like I would.
Did you go to
move
safety?
on
Did
to
I miss
curling
that?
content?
No,
What?
not yet. Not yet.
No. Can we see safety, Ricky, whenever you get a chance?
Yeah, I'll go to safety. I don't think there's a safety you take here now that Dillon's off the board.
Okay.
I think that most of those guys are going to be there at the second round, but I do feel really good about
reached like they do every fucking draft.
So real quickly, offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I think Lomu is there, and I'm going to tell you right now, man, I just think that Panthers fans, maybe this isn't the way this shakes out. Maybe they don't do it, right? I think that we just have to get to a place, though, where we are comfortable with the idea that offensive tackle may be a sincere look in this draft early at 19.
Bryson, what did I tell you at the golf course this weekend?
Yeah.
Not enough people are talking about offensive tackle round 1 for Carolina.
Yep. And Caden Proctor's floated a lot. He was on the Panthers site, talked about. I would not draft Caden Proctor over Caleb Lomu. I would draft Caleb Lomu in a heartbeat. So for me, guys, if I was doing this.
So you have Lomu as your pick.
No, I'd have Jordan Tyson or Lomu as my pick.
Okay.
Probably, to be completely honest.
I am Messidor. Bryson, you're the decider then.
What I mean, Curtis, what do you think I'm going to go here?
He's going to go Jordan Tyson.
Oh, I know you are, and then I'm going to shit on both of you when we get online and this gets posted. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
The best wide receiver in the draft, give me Jordan Tyson. Come on.
Let's go Jordan Tyson. Let's make it fun. Let's go Jordan Tyson. Hey, look, they've already talked about still adding to this offense. This is not an out of reach thing for the Carolina Panthers, dude. I know, Curtis, you don't think that it's even feasible, but if you talk about adding Kenyon, hold on, listen. If you talk about adding Kenyon Sadiq, why is Kenyon Sadiq so much better of a choice than Jordan Tyson when Kenyon Sadiq for his position is a wild outlier? Jordan Tyson for his position is a really, really good prospect, a prospect that in many years would be a top 10 selection.
Hey, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell you guys, I got a tweet notification. You'll never get. Literally just happened. Samir Suleiman posted it for the first time in a while.
Hey, Samir,
There's a
good
throwback. All right, sorry.
All right, so we're going Jordan Tyson. We're going to do it, and we're going to see what happens.
Oh, baby.
Boy, we're in trouble.
All right, so Jordan Tyson was our pick. Let's see who went right before us. So AJ Halsey, I wish AJ Halsey was there because I'm a big AJ Halsey guy. R. Mason Thomas went at 45. J-Rod went at 44. So Jacob Rodriguez, that's about the range that I anticipate him going, to be completely honest. D'Angelo Pons at 43. Malachi Lawrence picked 40.
Ooh.
So a lot of these names that we were looking at.
Parker go? He just went too. I think I saw that.
TJ Parker, yeah, he went 39 here. Caleb Lomu right here. This is interesting. If this happened in real life, where the Patriots drafted Caleb Lomu after Mike Vrabel comes out and says, "Hey, we're not moving so-and-so. We're not moving him there, right? We're keeping him." If they draft Caleb Lomu, that's a wrap for Will Campbell as a left tackle.
See you, Willie.
Who did Seattle take?
Seattle took Brandon Siss out of South Carolina. Cease. I'm not exactly positive on the pronunciation there.
Who went right after us in the first round?
Right after us was Avion Terrell.
Ooh.
For Dallas. Makes sense. Omar Cooper at 23 for the Eagles. So the Eagles probably would have jumped over at Jordan Tyson as well, which makes you feel pretty good about grabbing Jordan Tyson. All right, let's look at what we do have available here. Zion Young goes at pick 50. That's another guy that was mocked to us at pick 19 that I'd love to have a 30 seconds in a duel with somebody who picked that. That's fucking terrible, dude. All right, so let's look at what we have here real quick.
Simpson. Uh-oh.
We're not going Ty Simpson. But what you do have, a few things that stand out to me real quick, okay? Yes, a couple things that stand out right away to me. Keith Abney and Keontae Scott are two fantastic nickel prospects that actually have good size and good production. I think that both of them are outstanding prospects that should be firmly on the radar for the Panthers in round 2. Eli Stowers, another guy that absolutely lit the combine up, right? This is one of the darlings. This is a guy that I have been high on. I like Eli Stowers. The projection for him is a little bit iffy because of the fact that he's not a very good blocker. When we talk about linebackers, this is the one that we drafted in our last one, Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
And I am still a very big fan of the idea of drafting Jake Galladay. I thought he performed well at the combine. I thought he looked pretty fluid. Thought he looked like a good athlete. His testing numbers were really good. I'll have to bring up his numbers while y'all talk about who you like. I'll go and I'll get his numbers.
Yeah,
so that
can
I
you
can
go
see
to that linebacker room specifically?
Yes, because I think that round 2. So round 2 for me, if you go wide receiver, you got to start looking at linebackers and safeties, and potentially offensive line if you want to. So you got Jake Galladay, Josiah Trotter, Kyle Lewis, Anthony Hill Jr.
So
Keyshawn
Rodriguez
Elliott.
already went.
Yeah, Rodriguez went 44 to the Jets.
Okay.
So those are your
what's edge?
Yeah, what's edge look like?
Let's look at edge. I don't think they're going to draft an edge early in this draft, guys. I just don't. Danny Dennis Sutton was another guy that I almost put up on my thing. He was my edge 10, which I think was higher than everyone, and he had a outstanding combine performance. 6'5", 265, 22 years old at Penn State. Talk about production and consistency. Look at the pressures there, the hurries. 29, 23, 19, sacks 5, 9, 8. Very similar in a way in his consistent production as a Malachi Lawrence. He's got some athletic limitations, a little bit tight in the hips, a little bit the bend isn't there. But
can we look interior defensive line too quickly?
It's not going to be nothing you like. But yeah, I'll do it. Dominique Orange, Grayson Halton.
Yeah, never mind.
Halton.
Jake Galladay.
I think
I like Jake Galladay too.
Yeah, I think he would
sorry.
be mine.
But real quick, let's look at offensive line just to get an idea here. There's Salesman's Jennings Dunker, who I believe is absolutely a guard and maybe not even a terrific one. I hate to say that, Salesman. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm not a giant Jennings Dunker fan. I will tell you this. If you're looking for a left tackle, Markel Bell is my favorite budget left tackle.
You don't like an Iowa lineman?
6'9", 345 pounds with 36-inch arms, and he has some really
36-inch arms.
36-inch arms with impressive movement, man. I like Markel
made in
Bell.
a lab.
Yeah, Markel Bell is a guy that I would really look at in round 3.
Shit.
You like that Brian Parker too, don't you?
I like Brian Parker, yeah, but Brian Parker, I like him better as an interior. I like him as like a guard or a center, probably center. So look, if it's me, guys, I'm looking at one of these nickels, or I am looking at Jake Galladay, and that's the move that I'm making personally. What do you guys think? I know, Bryson, you said Jake Galladay.
Yeah, my vote's Galladay.
I like Galladay, man. I think that's a fun player. I think that is a really interesting player. You talk about getting pressure. Y'all just wanted to see the edge room. We can use Jake Galladay to get pressure. Like, we can do that, and he has some chops in coverage. His athleticism has a little bit of limitations, but you coach this guy, man. He can really play, I think. What say you? Are we going Jake Galladay, or are we going?
Yeah, I think that's the pick.
Okay, let's go Jake Galladay. Let's see how it plays out. Boom. Hey, I like it. Nice decisive decision making, boys. Oh, we are in an interesting one here. I can already tell you just from looking at it. So Grayson Halton goes a pick before us. That's a shame because I do like him a good bit. Zachariah Branch goes here at pick 80, Bryson, just to give you a little bit of context of what they're thinking.
The Ravens. Okay.
Yeah. Kyle Lewis goes there 75. Max Clare, my tight end too, right there goes at 73 to the Saints. Man, that's going to grind.
Garrett Nussmeier to the Browns.
Garrett Nussmeier, Romello Height, Moore, Eli Stowers. So who went right after us? Keith Abney and Keontae Scott. So both nickels that we were just looking at. Kamari Ramsey was another one that I would really consider Kamari Ramsey in round 2. I think that's another name that people should get familiar with because he played a lot of single high, he played a lot of deep safety, and then this past year out of necessity he played nickel, and he's very adequate, if not above average at it. That I think that he's a name that is going to really appeal to Carolina too. Looking at who's available real quick, Sam Heck stands out immediately. This is one of the premier center prospects in the draft. We have not allocated to the offensive line. Connor Liu is another premier center. He is coming off of an ACL, but this is a 20-year-old coming off of an ACL with outstanding power and athleticism. That is a real deal center. He had first-round grades from a lot of people.
When did he get that ACL injury?
October, I think.
No, thank you. We're not touching him.
Well, now that Curtis says it, we're out. Markel Bell is another option. Here he is. He's going to be. I think he's going to go around 3.
I like Heck here because did we take him last draft too?
No, I don't think so.
I think we talked.
No, you took Pat Coogan. You took Pat Coogan because you wouldn't let me take Logan Jones. But here's the other thing: is that Logan Jones is still going to be there later, and Logan Jones, I think, is a outstanding center and an outstanding fit for Carolina individually.
Do you think, though, realistically, like real life, he's going to be?
Yeah, I think that Logan Jones is probably a round 4 prospect because he's almost 25 years old. He's 24. He's probably thought of as limited to zone schemes because of his size. So I think you very realistically could see Logan Jones as a round 4 type of prospect, even though he blew up the combine and he has been good. he's an older prospect, man. And older prospects that play one specific position. They don't play guard. They don't play tackle. They don't have swing, versatility. That's a very pointed prospect, dude. That's not going to be everybody's taste. And they lose value when it's that way. Sam Heck, though, is terrific. I like Sam Heck, but is that the move that you make when you also have, look, we talked about offensive tackle is still something that you need to look at. You miss out on a Markel Bell. You're starting to look at a guy like Austin Barber. Emil Wagner is another one that I'm higher on. But those are about where you fall as far as like offensive tackles that you could draft. And I do think that they're going to need to draft one. Safety is another position I would look at. Zakee Wheatley. I know a lot of people really like Zakee Wheatley. I think he's fine. Bud Clark is a guy that I like, but here's my guy too. And it's not just because of Maryland. Jalen Husky. I don't think that Jalen Husky is going to last to the 5th, 6th, 7th round like these simulators are doing. I think Jalen Husky.
Did he drop at all? I feel like he dropped in ranking in this.
Yeah, to 328.
He was higher up last time we were because I remember you talking about him.
I like him a lot.
This is your Jacob Parrish of last year.
I like him a lot, man. I just think that he has a lot of versatility. I think he's a really solid player. He's got ball production. He can turn the ball over.
Let's wait on that. You hit on Parrish last year. Not a lot of people talked about him early on. I'm comfortable with waiting. I do think center's the move here.
Bryson, what do you think? You like center here?
Yeah, I would probably go center.
Very promising. Yeah.
So here's what I would tell you.
Markel Bell is interesting.
Right.
I think at this spot, but Heck is obviously one of the better center prospects in the draft. So I'm not gonna lie and say that I know Logan Jones. I've watched a lot of his tape, but knowing that Ricky's very high on him, that kind of makes me question going center right now when it looks like we could get Logan Jones much later in the draft. So I'm back and forth between Markel Bell and Heck right here.
Defensive interior, I also think that Darrell Jackson Jr. I think is going to be intriguing. This is a 6'5", 337, 35-inch arms. I think that that's going to be intriguing, specifically if they get rid of Ashawn Robinson and they want to bring in somebody else for that defensive interior. I think that he is a name to keep in mind. Chris McClellan would be another one. Zane Durant set the combine on fire with his agility and quickness.
Was one, yeah.
What is that school? Caleb Proctor.
That's Southeastern Louisiana.
Okay.
About 6'3", 280. 6'3", 280, I think. Yep, 6'3", 280 right there. Good sack production, good pressures. But he is undersized. He is undersized, and I think that is going to be something that we are going to be a little bit gun-shy with, especially with Turk on the roster, and we're still trying to see if he develops. My only thing here, Sam Hecht, cool, man. Good player. I like him a lot. I like Sam Hecht a lot. I don't think you can get a Markel Bell situation. I don't think you draft another tackle that you feel good about other than maybe Emil Wagner, who I think also needs some time. I think Markel Bell is the only tackle that's left on this board that I look at and say I would start him. If Icky can't go, I would start him. I like Markel Bell, man. I think that he's an underrated player.
Send it in. Write his name on the card.
You see his experience there at left tackle, 1,500 snaps at left tackle, man, for Miami. This is a community college guy at first, too, by the way, junior college guy. All right, so we go on Markel Bell here just to switch things up and do some new shit?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Let's do it. Markel Bell, I like that, guys. Look, we're doing some fun stuff here. And you still got Brian Parker. So here's the fun thing. Now we get into where I think the Carolina Panthers' sweet spot is, okay? Kilgore. I love the idea of Kilgore. I love that idea. Bud Clark is still there. Love that one, too.
Torrey York.
Torrey York, yeah, but we got Jake Gaudet, and we're going to do this under the assumption that we're
quarterbacks? I'm not being stupid. I actually just want to see who's there.
These guys. We're not going to spend a fourth, though.
Is the
Jalen Green ain't a quarterback.
Georgia State guy there still?
Georgia State? Georgia Tech?
Or Georgia Tech, I'm sorry.
Haynes King? Yeah, he's right here. He's going to be there until the 6th or 7th, maybe even undrafted.
Yeah, I was just curious.
So, safety. You get in here to safety, and you still got Bud Clark, older prospect, but you want to talk about a single high type of player. He can do it. He's a little bit more of a nickel. He does a little bit more closer to –
Keaton is requesting long snappers.
Oh, yeah. We should look at one of those, huh?
You coming?
Yeah, you coming?
Bro, you coming?
All right, so look, cornerback here.
Yeah, bro, I just drafted you.
Jalen Kilgore is one of my favorites. If you don't draft a nickel early, Jalen Kilgore is one of my favorites to take a chance on in that Nick Emanwari type of role. Yeah. And I know it's not helmet
defense. We need a fucking life vest out in this.
Yeah, this isn't helmet scouting though. This is a 21-year-old 6'1", 211 who has a lot of experience playing inside on the slot. You see here, 497, 577 snaps. So in the past 2 years, over 1,000 snaps playing in the nickel position. In the box, he can also load it up. Deep, he has a little bit of versatility. His first year, he was a deep safety that also came down. I like him. I think he's an ultra physical. I think that he's a really fast player. You're going to have to coach him a little bit, but you're talking about a round 4 pick, right? A round 4 pick for a guy that can add some serious athleticism and explosion in your secondary. I don't think it's a terrible pick, but the only other one that I wanted to look at, Brian Parker. So you got there, if you want to go center, you could go back to back. What Brian Parker has, versatility. This is a 6'5", 305-pound player, 32.5-inch arms, I believe, something like that. This is a guy that has played left tackle and right tackle the past 2 years and has been taking snaps as an interior lineman at all of the all-star circuits in the combine. So what we loved about Brady Christensen, what we loved about, the idea of Austin Corbett, that's something that Brian Parker can offer you and let you move away from both of those players. And if Robert Hunt has problems, this is a guy that slides right in at right guard, and you don't have to mess with Logan Jones or anybody else later, right? Like, I don't know, man. It's intriguing. But Kilgore, from a defensive standpoint, also just makes a ton of sense, in my opinion.
I like Kilgore here.
Kilgore?
Let's go Kilgore. Let's do it. Jalen Kilgore. All right, so now we're on back-to-back picks at 156 and 157, right?
Look at that center spot.
Center, this is where I would take Logan Jones, 100%. Except he's been taken.
What?
All right, let's see where Logan Jones went.
No.
Hold on now.
We would have traded up in real life.
Where did Logan go? One pick before us to the Detroit.
Oh, my God.
And Detroit was interested in Cade Mays.
Hold on, though, guys. No. I wouldn't go Coogan here. That was a guy that Curtis pounded the drum for last time. I would go Parker Brailsford. This is another guy that 6'2", 290, but I think he weighed in at 300 at the combine. This is a 5-star, I believe, recruit, 4 or 5-star recruit. Good length, 32-inch, extremely athletic, powerful guy. I like Parker Brailsford if we're going to go center there. That's who I would go with.
At Coogan.
You like Coogan, and you like Coogan too.
Let's look at edge.
And Bryson,
we still don't have a fucking edge to these geniuses here.
Vincent Anthony.
Rager. Mason
Rager. I would go Rager. I like Rager.
Send it in, baby.
Who were you looking at? You're looking at Vincent Anthony?
Yeah.
Let's wait on Rager.
I think they would look at George Gums. I think that he's going to be appealing just from his.
You got a good set of gums.
I think from his profile, it's intriguing, but I don't think that he's that great of a. I don't think he's a great fit personally. You could double tap on the lineman. I like Caleb Elam's or a good bit.
What about tight end? I'm kidding. I'm tired of taking tight end in the draft.
Why? I like taking tight end with the last pick. You still have Oscar Delp here, who I think could be a very good football player. I'm higher on Tanner Koziel. I think Tanner Koziel is going to be a good NFL tight end. I think
Max
he's just going to. Who?
Max Bredesen.
Max Bredesen's there. John Michael Gillenborg. A lot of people like him. There's a guy, though, I like, Will Kazmarek.
God damn. They got that man undrafted in the rankings.
This dude right here is a baller. This dude is the best blocker in the game, and he had a much better athletic showing than anyone anticipated. I think that he's one of those guys that is going to get used in the NFL, and people are going to be like, where did this guy come from? He is going to be a baller. But I like taking him with the very last pick for the Panthers because tight ends are also special teams contributors. And a lot of times with that final pick, you see them going linebacker and tight end.
Started the run. Let's get the center here. Coogan it is. No, we can go with your guy.
Bryson, talk to me.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know anything about Parker Brailsford. Coogan, I know a little bit about.
Edgar said Brailsford is super athletic. Like him too.
Okay.
Super athletic.
All right, let's go. Let's go Brailsford. Both of our guys are on him, Curtis.
Yeah, that's different. Different than our last one too.
You got to trust our scouts. You know, you got to trust the scouts.
Go Parker Brailsford. All right, and now we have a back-to-back pick, so we get another opportunity here.
Have we looked at safety, or is we out of that range already? It's kind
no. We could go and grab. We could grab my guy. We could grab Jalen Husky. You could grab Lewis Moore is a name that a lot of people like. I think that this is something Jordan Reed has talked about. Lewis Moore has solid production. I think that he's a decent deep safety. I would prefer Jalen Husky. I'm a big VJ Payne fan as well, but he's more of a box safety.
Still there?
Yeah, Husky's here. They've got him low on here. I don't think that's real life.
Let's be realistic.
I don't think real life Husky goes much further than this point, to be completely honest. My opinion.
Because this is a guy you've been pounding the table for.
This is a guy that, again, you see him, he started playing a lot more deep safety, and he has great instincts and range. His turnovers, he's had like a total of, I think, like 15 turnovers in his career between his two schools. This is a legitimate football player that has played corner. He has played box safety, played deep safety, played nickel. I think that when we talk about Dillon Thieneman, this is your, if you don't get Dillon Thieneman, take a chance on Jalen Husky late, man, and maybe you could turn him into the same thing.
Yeah, Keaton, talk to him. Hound him.
We're going Jalen Husky, boys. I'm gonna make that. I'm making that executive decision. Is that okay?
Not just any wide receiver. Not just any wide receiver.
All right, so let's look. What do we got? Hold on. Let's go to our picks real quick. Can we look at our picks real fast? Jordan Tyson, Jake Galday, Markel Bell, Jalen Kilgore, Parker Brailsford, Jalen Husky.
We still don't have an edge rusher, folks. We better be going hard in free agency or we're fucked.
But I think that are we fucked though? Because I think free agency is where they're going to go. Like, I don't think that there is a premier edge rusher for 19. I don't know, man. I just think that this is really in line with how they're going to.
I would like to look at quarterbacks right now.
Same. We're in that range.
Yeah.
I think this is the range we go with it.
I would go Cole Payton or Jalen Daniels. I don't know if Cole Payton's going to be here in round 6.
I don't love him. You like him?
I think that if you're throwing a round 6 dart, yeah, I 100% would rather develop the guy that has superior athletic traits and a cannon of an arm. I would much rather take that than who are we looking at? Who else?
We talked about Luke last time.
I like Luke Altmaier. Yeah, Luke Altmaier is fine. Haynes King, though, like, what is it about Haynes King that's better than Cole Payton?
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot.
I've seen Taylor Green. I don't know enough about him, but I've seen that.
I'm not taking Taylor Green is a
I just
tight
don't
end.
know about him.
He's a tight end or a wide receiver that's not going to make it.
Miller Moss really fell off, dude. Oh my god, I had high hopes for him.
Luke Altmaier, I think, is probably the better passer out of the people that are left here. I also think that you just go undrafted free agent and grab Mark Gronowski. That's a guy that I think is an NFL quarterback, backup quarterback, and I don't think you draft him. You get him undrafted. That's a guy that I think you can.
But your top QB out of this list is Cole Payton.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know that he's going to last until round 6. But I don't know that you have to draft a quarterback. I think you can sign an undrafted free agent.
No, I'm saying us. Do we want to draft? Like, Andy Dalton's out the door. I don't think he's back. Like that. I think that's pretty damn clear.
You can also still get Oscar Delp here in round 6, which I don't think is realistic. But he's got the.
I mean, do you guys want to address that? Would you think they are? Would you be comfortable addressing that in free agency, or would you want to do like the undrafted route?
What, the quarterback?
Yeah, I know how you feel, Bryson. Where are you at?
I don't know how I would feel with an undrafted rookie being the backup to Bryce Young.
Yeah, that makes me nervous too.
Would you feel better with Taylor Green if you drafted him in the 6th? You see what I'm saying? Like, is that better?
I mean, not a whole lot. I am more of a fan of.
They addressed it earlier. If
Jalen Daniels, I think he's got some upside there. At this pick in round 6. But I mean, no option is like, oh man, we gotta run the card up and take him at this point.
What's interior D line?
Is Rayshon Benny still there?
Not done anything with either.
Not much.
And if we're going to get rid of Ashawn Robinson, I know they like Cam Jackson. It sounds like, but
take the biggest motherfucker available right now.
Well, that would be Xavier Harris, 6'8", 330 pounds, I believe.
Carolina Panther.
Yeah. He's got some serious leverage issues, but he is a monster of a human being. I'll tell you that much. So you could take him, or the other thing that I think Carolina could look at here, if we're just being honest, I think they could double tap on linebacker, especially when you're talking about like special teams, because they're gonna have special teams needs here. And this is where I think you could get a little bit creative if you want to, and look at a guy like Red Murdoch is an ultra productive guy. I'm a big fan of Red Murdoch. I don't know about his athleticism. I think that that's going to be really key. But this is a guy that is one of the more, or if not the most productive linebacker in college football with his stats and his fumbles. He has more fumbles forced than Khalil Mack at Buffalo. He broke his record. But the other thing that you could do here, you got that Eric Gentry guy, Lander Barton. I think that Lander Barton is worth a flyer. But here's a name I want to throw out there.
Oh, boy.
Kendall Daniels, who played this big star robber nickel safety linebacker combo for Oklahoma and Venables. 6'5", 240 pounds. This dude is so athletically freaky that I think you take a chance here on this big framed linebacker safety.
I say we move these picks along. These are taking longer than the first couple.
So what do you want to take?
I trust you. I don't know half these guys. I don't know majority of these guys anymore. So you've done more research than both of us combined. I think you ate us along here with the last two picks.
Delp, right?
Delp.
Take tight end Delp. If he's there at 6, which I don't think he will be, but if he is, that's a terrific pick. So we'll just take him. And then from here, on this very last pick, I think this is where you go with your Wisconsin guy if he's still there, Rager.
He's probably not there. Send it in. That's it. Boom. That's the best pick of the draft.
I like Mason Rager.
Yeah.
I think he actually could be a B+.
You haven't watched him then. Shame. All right,
so there you go.
Send me the screenshot of that. So chat, go back down. So the chat, what do you guys think of this draft? If you guys kind of joined late or in between,
that's interesting.
Wide receiver for the third year in a row. We're channeling the Detroit Lions of the 2010s. Jordan.
What's the highest graded pick?
And then we went linebacker and Jake Galladay. Then we went with Markel Bell with a tackle, Jane Kilgore. The corner out of South Carolina. We're dipping back into the South Carolina pool. We went Parker, Brailsford, center, Ricky's darling, draft crush. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying darling, but draft crush, Jalen Husky. We go tight end, Oscar Delp, and we round it out with the best player in this draft, Mason Riger. I'm kidding, but no. Let us know what you guys think of this. Give us a grade. We'll also post this on our Twitter after this, probably tomorrow, just to kind of get your guys' sense. Bryce. Hey, Talon, don't ever put that into the world. Stop it. I do want to end on this because we didn't touch on it, and it came out today, I believe. And it was kind of a hot topic when we did our free agency here. I know you guys want to end this, but this happened this afternoon. Jordan Schultz said the position set to get crazy money next week is the O-line, and he dropped Cade Mays. Ricky, I know we've been back and forth on this. Ricky thought he was going to get paid. I didn't think he was going to get paid. I might be wrong. It sounds like I will be. But I want to get you guys on record. What are you comfortable paying Cade Mays, and do you want to see him back in Carolina? I don't know who wants to start on that.
In theory, I'd like to see him back in Carolina, I guess. But I think that you can get better. We missed out on Logan Jones. I think that Logan Jones is a year one starter as a rookie. But I also think that if you're going to pay a premium price for a center, I am paying for Tyler Linderbaum or I am paying for Connor McGovern. I'm not going to split the difference between the $10 million it's going to cost me to keep Cade Mays. No offense to Cade Mays, man. Appreciate him. He's not an elite center. And if you want to pay big time money and you want to allocate more money into a position where you're trying to get cheaper, then you better go get the best damn player you can there. And that's Connor McGovern or Tyler Linderbaum. Otherwise,
what do you think those guys are going to fetch?
15 mil. 15, 17 mil.
So you don't want to pay Cade Mays 8,
10.
but you're willing to pay.
I think Cade is going to get 10.
Okay.
I think Cade is going to get 10. And I don't want to
rather pay 15 for McGovern.
Without a doubt.
Probably 20 for Linderbaum. Linderbaum's
not going to get 20. I don't think Linderbaum
18,
gets 20.
Okay, we'll go 18.
I think he gets 17 or 18, and I would much rather pay that. Yes, personally.
Okay.
Because I think that they're better players.
Bryson?
Yeah, the number I had in mind for Cade Mays was around that $10 million. So I agree with Ricky. I think that's what he's going to get.
And you don't want to pay that because Ricky's saying he doesn't want to pay that if it's 10.
Yeah, my preference would to be going the draft route. I wouldn't want to pay any center in free agency, whether it be Linderbaum, McGovern, Cade Mays. I would prefer to go into the draft with that being a clear need and addressing that in rounds 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there, and getting one of these, top end talents that it's probably going to be there available in that range. So that would be my preference if Cade Mays is really pulling in that 10 million or upwards of that in free agency.
You guys know where I stand on this. I would be comfortable moving on from Cade Mays if Ike Ekwonu wasn't hurt. I just have a hard time creating more holes on the offensive line when you don't need to. And if you can get Cade Mays, I prefer 8. It sounds like he might get more than that. But I still think I'd be comfortable giving him 10 million.
But you say you don't want to create more holes because of Icky. But if you sign Connor McGovern, is that creating more holes or is that making your offensive line better?
No, I'm not opposed to that, but I think you need to go after other positions with more money. Yeah, and that's defense. Like we cannot if I can figure out the right word for it, discount going after defense. Like that needs to be the fucking priority in free agency without a doubt.
I'd offer Cade Mays like a 3-year, $15.5 million deal. And I would say if you can get more money from other people, by all means, man, do what's best for your family. Like, we appreciate what you did here. But 3 years, 15.5 is sitting right here on the table.
And it sounds like they're going to do that. Like they either have an answer on the roster that we don't know about, or they have a plan that they're going to go in and
maybe they love Nick Samick.
I know. And
maybe
joked about that forever. Is like mentioned every time that guy's in the starting line or every time he's on the game day roster, they win a game or whatever.
Bryson, what are you saying?
I was going to say, or maybe it's Chandler Zavala at center.
Yuck.
And that's the end of Panthers on Snap. And I don't just mean for this episode. I mean for good. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you, Bryson, for ruining an entire podcast. No, I'm kidding.
He's fast, but is he fluid? That's my question about Chandler
God damn it. I got to go, guys.
You got to sign us off. Man.
Curtis, you have to sign us off now. And we're teetering around with 666 people listening while you talk about Chandler Zavala on my Panthers team. You need to end this podcast before some wicked shit happens.
Well, hey, free agency Monday is when the shit goes down. We will break it all down for you guys coming up next week. Hopefully Wednesday y'all can make that work. If not, we'll do it Thursday. We'll figure that out offline. But next week is going to be bananas. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. We'll finally learn, some of the guys they're targeting. And we'll go from there. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll do a mock draft once free agency settles down, and then we'll do maybe one right before the draft. So we maybe do 4, if that sounds about right for y'all. But yeah, it'll be exciting. It'll be fun. It's literally Christmas next week for the Carolina Panthers. And Bryson's getting I got physically ill. I think we all did. Keen. No, we appreciate every single one of you guys. If you haven't subscribed on our YouTube channel, please do. We also are starting to post on TikTok. Go follow us there. We just started doing that. So please, we're starting to get a presence on there as well. So make sure you check that out. And if you're not a member already, please do that. It's the join button on YouTube. It's $4.99 for Apple users, $3.99 for the rest of you folks. We would appreciate it. We will see you all next week. And as always, keep pounding.